What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another Forward Progress Sunday Night Football Watch Along presented by FanDuel. I'm Rob Pizzola. I'll be with you for the duration of the evening. Clive Bixby going to join me here in the first half momentarily. Of course, Jeff Feinberg, Austin Mock, our usual Sunday crew in the second half. We got the Falcons. We got the Commanders. It's an interesting game. For people that don't know, the Commanders are not locked into the playoffs just yet. They could still technically lose out and miss because Tampa Bay could get a wild card over Washington. So it is important for Washington as well. Obviously, Atlanta looking to lock up the NFC South. There's a lot of stuff going on in tonight's game. Now, you might have noticed I'm late tonight. I wasn't late. Been sitting in this desk in this chair for past several hours. Reason I didn't push live is because I was desperately looking for something to play on this game tonight. I talked about this on Pizza Buffet earlier this morning. I think that this is a game that has a lot of uncertainty. I don't really know what's going to happen because of several factors. One, Washington is just a very hard team to rate because they fluctuated up and down over the course of the year with Jaden Daniels. Two, I have no idea what Michael Penix is and what he's going to be because he played the Giants last week, who are an unreal football team, even though they somehow won today. Three, we have some potential weather impacts in this game as well. So from a props perspective, I think this game sucks. From an SGP perspective, I could probably concoct something, but I don't like either of the sides in the game. So I'm going to avoid using an alternate spread. And let's start with the SGP for tonight's game. It's only going to be a two-legger. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take two legs. I rarely do this. I really construct SGPs in a very similar way. For those who've been watching over the course of the year, you kind of know what I like to do in these types of situations. Instead, I'm going to look for two, what I would consider to be high upside props and just put them together because I think there's multiple game scripts where both of these could potentially hit. I'm going to start on the Atlanta Falcons side at the quarterback position. I watched all of Michael Penix's game last week against the Giants. And what I noticed is he pretty much came under no pressure over the course of that game. This is high stakes. You guys know the drill in these primetime games, high stakes. Michael Penix ran a 4.45 40 time at the Combine. He was extremely disappointed with that time at the Combine. I'm going to take a shot on Penix 25 plus rush yards in the alt rush yards market. 25 plus at plus 520. That's going to be the first leg. Again, this is educated guesswork at this point. You got a fast quarterback, mobile quarterback, a game where you might see some read option potentially as well with some inclement weather, rain and winds expected. That's my first shot. My second shot, MRM. You nailed it, my friend. De'Ami Brown is out. I don't think Olamide Zaccheaus has a lot of upside relative to Jamison Crowder. Zaccheaus, the prophet Zaccheaus, we love him for a huge cash last year on Forward Progress. We will never forget the prophet Zaccheaus. But Jamison Crowder is who I want to throw in here, and we're also going to go alternate markets as well for Jamison Crowder. I'm going to go 40 plus alternate receiving yards. You can play around with these however you want to go. I think 40 plus is a very realistic and suitable option. That gets you 17-1. But if you want to mix and match, certainly go for it. This has been bet into my account at only a slightly better number because I did it a couple minutes ago, plus 1734. We're at the same roughly amount here, 17-1. Looking for a couple players that I believe have some high upside in this particular game. Outside of that, I'll give out 1.5 unit prop, and it's right on the cusp. It's pretty borderline, but I'm going to play Darnell Mooney under on receiving yards in this game. I talked about receptions this morning. That's since gone. If you played that at plus 120 or plus 110 earlier today, you got yourself a very favorable number. I still think the receiving yardage number is too high. 47.5 is a pretty decent number at FanDuel. There is a 49.5 out there. But I like Darnell Mooney under for half a unit. In a game where you potentially see some wind impact and some rain, that tends to hurt the downfield threats a little bit more than it hurts everyone else underneath. Because of that, I'm taking Darnell Mooney under. Third leg to enable the boost. So I don't have a boost personally tonight. We have live SGP boosts going on for this game tonight. But if you do have a boost available to you, what you can do is just take, it's kind of cheating the system, but you can take Michael Penix over his regular yardage or Jamison Crowder over his regular yardage to put them in as a third leg. That's not going to change the price of the parlay, but it allows for you to be able to get the boost. I'm also going to go one more passing prop here. I actually rarely do this, catching producer Jason off guard, but we're going to go to the interception market. And let me just make sure that we still have it up right now. Going to take Jaden Daniels. You know what? Abort. Don't chase it. I was going to say no interception. Price is too high. Don't chase it. For those who are looking for action, listen, I'm very upfront and honest with the audience whenever I can be. I do not have a good read on this game. Some nights I come out firing. Some nights I got a million things going on. And this is not one of those games. The things that closely missed the radar for me were Jaden Daniels not to throw an interception. We had Olamide Zaccheaus under. Again, I'm speculating. I'm reading the tea leaves. It's kind of like what I did with Jalen Naylor earlier on today with Minnesota. But that's a pro move, by the way. Pat yourself on the back for one prop that you got right on what was a very average day on props. But that's what I do. But same type of thing. I feel like Crowder is going to be a little bit more involved. Minus 125 would be kind of a cutoff for me. So we can go with that right there. Jim H says Zach Ertz and Kyle Pitts 3+ receptions and 1+ TD each. 29-1. I'll root that in. I don't know how much Kyle Pitts is still going to be involved in the offense. No INT minus 115. Good to go right there as well. Let's take a look at the touchdown market really quickly. See if we can find someone with value. By the way, just if you are betting on FanDuel, which you should, I seriously don't know why you wouldn't have a FanDuel account at this point in your betting career. If you're looking for the Atlanta players over on rushing yards, whether that's Bijan Robinson or Tyler Algier, FanDuel has the best number in market on both of those guys. I think they're appropriately priced, but if you're kind of like a top-down bettor, you want to gauge the market right at game time, those would be pretty good bets, plus EV in the long run on those. And maybe if you're starving for action, you can go ahead with those. Touchdown scorer market. Talked about Jamison Crowder this morning, 5-1. Would still play the plus 450 on Jamison Crowder. Could play it down to plus 400 in my opinion, which would be a fair price. Again, it does pay to watch the pizza buffet sometimes. I know I'm not giving you a ton of winners on NFL Sunday from a sides and totals perspective. At least, historically not. I think this year's been a lot better. But that one, we got ahead of the market a little bit. I mean, I don't see much on the board, honestly. It's one of those games. Potentially in the same vein, Luke McCaffrey would be another guy I'd take a look at 11-1. Highlighted right there on screen by producer Jason. I think these are kind of just at the break-even prices now. Not Crowder. Crowder, I still has room. McCaffrey, 11-1, though. Don't hate that at all. Don't want to be that guy. I know everyone's looking for bets on Sunday Night Football, but I have to be that guy because I just don't think it's a great opportunity. Taking a look at the chat really quickly, seemed to be high on Zach Ertz. Ertz was someone I considered in terms of good matchup, in my opinion. Just think that was kind of moved in price over the course of the day today, and not a huge fan of it anymore. Marcus says Pitt's under 22.5. I have no opinion on Pitt's. I feel like a jackass right now, just saying I have no opinion on anything. Penix anytime touchdown is a good price at FanDuel at 7-1. That was another one that was worth considering, but I'm already invested on Penix in some capacity, looking for high upside, so avoided that one a little bit here tonight. All right, this game's going to get started very shortly. I will bring in Clive here in 1 second, but before I do, the holidays are here, and when you enjoy all the NFL games going on, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, has you covered. I'm a big fan of the product. Obviously, they're the sponsor of my show, but they're honestly the best sportsbook out there right now. The product is so good, both on mobile and web. They have tons of betting options. They give the fairest limits on props to all bettors out there. It's just a complete package of a sportsbook right now. Try another sportsbook in the space that you haven't heard of, like I do pretty regularly on a daily basis, and you pull your hair out trying to navigate through the menu and find bets. FanDuel much better in that regard. And right now, all customers get a profit boost every single NFL game day. That means you can pump up your gridiron winnings multiple times a week. Tonight, 25% NFL same game parlay profit boost token. Oh, we do have the token. I don't know. Oh, you know why? I burned it today. I burned it on a loser day. That's why I don't have it in my account, but you have it in yours. 25% NFL same game parlay profit boost token. You're going to have one tomorrow night as well. FanDuel has tons of ways you can get in on the NFL action. You can bet money lines, spreads, player props, and more. Plus, with super simple live betting, lightning fast bet settlement, and instant withdrawals, FanDuel makes betting on the NFL easier than ever before. Visit FanDuel.com/forward-progress to download FanDuel today. You must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. A lot of familiar faces here for Sunday night. Good to see everyone in there. Glad you had a great day. Drunken Goon. Hooper the Elf asks, what happened to the Giants today? I would say more like what happened to the Colts defense today, which had been trending upwards for a long time. And I don't know. A combo of both. Classic Giants move, by the way, winning the game today. Jermaine Illuminor, their left tackle, tweeted out something about like, we owed this one to the fans, big win. And like 90% of the responses were like, if you owed it to the fans, you should have just lost the game. Read the room, Jermaine. The fans didn't want the win. The fans didn't want the win. All right. We're going to have openers starting to come out here. Some are out already for next week's games. And of course, we'll break down the day that was week 18 in the NFL with my pal, Clive Bixby, live from Joey Kanish's house in Texas.
The virtual background is back for 1 week and 1 week only.
Yes. You were at what specific bowl were you at in Texas?
Alamo Bowl. So San Antonio, BYU, Colorado, Coach Prime.
And I actually saw the pictures of seats you had. Those are pretty incredible seats there.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. Got to go on the field after the game. It was pretty wild. It was quite a scene this week. Fucking exhausted.
Missed your flight out, just like the Las Vegas Raiders, but it didn't seem to hurt them today. Hopefully you're in the same spirits.
Yeah, it's fine. They canceled it. I guess it was all the weather that was going towards the southeast. That's the flight path from San Antonio back to Jersey. So I guess they didn't want to fly through it. That's how I read it. So I got like a 7 a.m. flight out tomorrow morning. It was worth it.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. People have mixed opinions on the sports experience nowadays and whether or not it's even worth it to go to games. I know there's people who are like vehemently on different sides of this. I obviously went out, I've mentioned this before on the program, but I went out to Happy Valley to see Penn State play earlier this year. I loved it, man. I'm big on the live sports experience. Listen, I don't want to miss an NFL Sunday to go watch like a random standalone Sunday game. Imagine being at Browns Dolphins today while Packers Vikings is going on. You could be on your couch. You're not in the cold. Like that's another thing altogether. But I still think there's a place in my heart for the live sports experience.
Yeah, this is the second really cool event that I got to go to this year. I was lucky. I got to go to one of the World Series games this year in the Bronx too. Um, they're worth it. They're just awesome events. They're experiences that you remember for a long time, and hopefully you're on the right end of the result. But even still, you just don't forget them.
Yeah. Good day, bad day today. How things go?
I didn't have anything today. Everything that I bet was before I traveled, so it was all Wednesday stuff. Up a unit and a half this week. Nothing crazy.
How did we do with Caustic was tracking from last week? I think we would have had a pretty good week based off of the openers from last week.
Yeah, we did well. I think we're up 2.5 units. We had one game left, and that's tomorrow's. Detroit team total over 27.5.
Got it. Someone was asking earlier in the chat, Audipol, we think Lions play starters all game tomorrow or pull them at some point. I would be floored if Dan Campbell pulls starters tomorrow.
It's not a style.
It's not. It is a meaningless game for Detroit. It is going to come down to next week against Minnesota, which is going to get flexed into Sunday Night Football if it hasn't already. That's going to be the game. And Dan Campbell, everything he said this week, they're approaching the game like it's a must win no matter what. It would be incredibly out of character if Dan Campbell pulled anyone in that game tomorrow. I just don't think it's in his nature.
I don't think so too. I think he would run his team in the ground. Like the last thing that he ever wants to do, it seems like, is ever take the foot off the gas. And no bad habits, no bad plays, none of that. I think he just wants his guys out there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
How did you do today?
I had a good day. Pretty good. There was some sweats that didn't need to be sweats. Jacksonville, Tennessee under. There was a chance of Tennessee forcing overtime late in the game because Jacksonville doesn't know how to run clock. That was fun. Some bad bets, obviously. I mean, I bet Dallas before I knew CeeDee Lamb was going to be out, and I wouldn't have made that bet if I knew CeeDee Lamb was going to be out because he constitutes so much of their offense. But yeah, it was a good day. Rather large positions on the Raiders, on the Carolina over, which Tampa Bay hit themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy. Sharp Clark was famous for doing this last year, right? The market is wrong guy.
Yes.
I don't believe that the market is wrong because if I did, I would be betting on like the game day and getting down as much as possible whenever I thought I have an edge. And I don't believe that. I was surprised at the under steam on Carolina, Tampa, just considering the amount of bodies at key positions that were missing for Carolina today. Like I just did not get that. So I like winning those ones. In the long run, I'd rather have the CLV with the win, but I'll take those. And that was like honestly as sweat free as it got. It just was like a wire to wire. Total was in the live total in the 60s the entire game type of game. So I'm happy with that one.
You and I talked about Bills-Jets last Sunday. I liked under 47.5. That was the biggest number out there. And you were thinking over. Did you end up taking the over as that number came down this week or no?
So yes, but like insignificant amount.
Tiny.
Yeah. So it was just like a game day cross, basically no vig over that we ended up having. So that was fine. That was a weird game because I'm looking at the box score of that game and it's really hard to process how one team just obliterated the other. It wasn't like this huge dynamic offensive performance from the Bills. A couple things that were very noticeable to me. One, the New York Jets took 16 penalties for 120 yards today. I recap every game every week on this show. I don't know that I've seen a team this year that took 16 penalties. I don't think
so.
It feels
Aaron
like
Rodgers had one too. He had a late hit personal foul.
Yeah. And then I also noticed that the Jets seem to move the ball actually pretty well. And then they cross midfield every single time and something happened.
Yeah.
Which is,
penalty,
yeah.
Story of the year, though, for the most part. Not that they've always been able to move the ball, but I mean, definitely not putting a lot of balls in the end zone. So even when they do get into the red zone, they struggle. Um, just same old Jets, I guess.
Yep, definitely. I'm going to sync the clock here after this play because it looks like with the snap is imminent at this point. So I'll sync the second down play here. But Kaderil Hodge getting some early run on first down. And a little check down here on second down. So once his play clock gets running, I'll sync it. And then we can start talking some of next week's games. It's going to be a bit of a shit show this week to preview next week. I'm just going to call it out for what it is right now. It will be incredibly challenging. We don't know what time the games are yet. Kind of a disaster. Okay. Let's get the clock back up on the screen here. And then I'll get it going. I see play clock 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Snap is off. Penix underthrew. Can't tell who that was in the middle of the field there. Looked like Mooney.
You might be a whole play ahead of me.
All right. Well, that's weird because Beat Gamer said he's a whole play ahead. What are you on the hotel? You're watching the hotel room, no?
Yeah, just regular. It's cable. It's not stream.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're a play ahead.
Look at that, man. All it took was moving a house and getting a satellite dish. Could you believe it?
Yeah. And me traveling across the country.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very unusual. We'll watch this third down here, and then we can get into a little bit more. I'm quite interested in this game. From like just a neutral perspective, I don't have anything involved. Side total. Wow, Penix, that was awful. Awful. That was tough. I was just about to say, from a neutral perspective, I'd want to see Atlanta win this game because a couple things will happen if Washington wins this game. Washington will clinch a playoff spot if they win tonight, but this will also clinch a playoff, the NFC West for the Rams because of like the strength of schedule.
I heard that today. Yeah.
So it will make next week very uninteresting, I would say. Very uninteresting in the NFC. But that was no good. No.
Refresh my memory. I don't have all of the normal stuff that I normally have. I'm just working off my laptop here. Atlanta beat Tampa twice this year already, right?
Yes. Okay. They did.
I don't think it's going to be a problem after watching that drive.
That was yeah, I mean the like London was wide open and he had Mooney over the middle of the field. And then I mean that interception, I don't even know what that was. He definitely some miscommunication because he missed the receiver by so much that I can't even believe it was possible. Zacchaeus makes the first catch here for Washington. I'm actually very glad I was not able to give out unders on the stream because he's already a third of the way there at this point.
Yeah, I mean, even if Penix is colorblind, the contrast of the dark uniform, I mean, he threw it right to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't even know what the best way is going to be to go about these games for next weekend.
Well, they haven't even announced which games are going to be Saturday or not yet, right? Or have they?
No, they haven't. Everything is scheduled for Sunday, 1:00 right now. I guess we can who's got suggestions in the chat? I don't even know what we did last year at this point.
I don't remember either.
Do games that matter?
I feel like things were a little more defined last year.
Yeah, I don't. The games that matter. Okay, I guess we can do those in the early going. FanDuel not open yet. They'll open up shortly on some of these, but we can talk through them for sure. Okay, so we know that Denver needs to win to make the playoffs. And I'm looking at the screen right now. They have opened up as a 10-point favorite against Kansas City. Kansas City is, there we go, 9.5 minus 115 FanDuel, 39.5 total. So 8.5 immediate KC money. I want to talk a little bit about week 18 in general, because I heard it a little bit this week with like the need to win factor being priced into the games as well. That to me is not so much a thing anymore as it used to be back in the day. The price is the price on the game at the end of the day, right? It's going to be dictated by sharp money and not necessarily
narrative.
Yeah, and square money, right?
Yeah.
With that said, I do think that in some cases the backups tend to be undervalued, so to speak. Mm-hmm. It depends on the positional drop-offs in a lot of these cases.
Oh, you got to catch that.
I know that's bad. He's hit him in the hands at that point. It's a really challenging game here, but let me put it this way. I'm not lining up to go lay it with Denver right now at the price that opened, basically.
No shot. And I mean, if thinking of it from the perspective of how good is Denver anyway to be kind of laying that number, are they really? I mean, I don't think so. I don't know what Andy Reid's going to do. But I mean, even look at the Colts Giants today. Even the team that was supposed to want to lose and the team that really had to win, you see what happens. And this is not exclusive to this year. This stuff has happened in the past where, big favorites need to win to get into the playoffs against teams that have nothing to play for. And the team with nothing to play for manages to not only cover, but sometimes win outright. So it's not that surprising. It's not the same as, let's say, what the NBA would look like in terms of, teams without anything to play for.
We got our first touchdown of the game, and it's Olamide Zaccheaus. So Zaccheaus, 3 targets, Crowder, 1 target. Great play by Jaden Daniels there, by the way, on the rollout. That looked like it was going to be dead. Good start for Washington fans, for the Commanders fans.
Tough for the take the points crowd.
Yeah, I mean, they conveniently forget when the 3s turn into 7s, right? They just like to point out when the threes aren't 3s turn into 0s. Okay, so in regards to KC this week, they played against Pittsburgh without Chris Jones, without DJ Humphries, their left tackle. I mean, I was surprised at how much pressure they were able to generate without Chris Jones. It's it's a Denver team that we've seen Sean Payton. He's not really coaching uber aggressive anymore nowadays either. It does seem like a big price. Do I want to get involved here? No, it's kind of in no man's land. Somebody said hit the Denver teasers right away. I don't think that's a bad idea at this point either. I think that's going to make for a really strong teaser leg. But I don't think there's anything I want to do right out of the gate with this one.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have more interest in the Chiefs, though, at that number than I have any interest in taking Denver.
They're so hard to price off the top of my head, honestly. And I will say that this is where I expected the number to be, right? When I was thinking about this going before coming on air, before looking, I was like, yeah, we're going to be it's got to be above a touchdown. I think it's got to be below 10 or 10 at the max. And that's kind of where we are right now. So, kind of challenging to see anything else in that game. All right, we're going to have Minnesota and Detroit. That one is very likely going to be. I'm going to be surprised if that's not Sunday Night Football. I don't even know if it was announced yet or anything along those lines, but I'm sure that that's going to be the late game next week because it's going to make the division in play.
That's I think the game that it's going to make the most sense regardless of all of these other outcomes.
Yeah. So with Minnesota and Detroit, we still have Detroit playing tomorrow night. It's going to be a short week game for them. We see Detroit open -2.5, -120. Total in the game is 51.5 here. And I got to tell you, I think Minnesota is super live in that game next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked, I did like Minnesota earlier in that matchup this year too. It didn't work out, but it was one of the bets that I made. That was, I think, if I remember correctly, that game had a lot of two-way money too.
It did.
Um,
I think Detroit closed. I think it was basically a pick 'em in Minnesota, and the Lions played really well in that game. Um, they're just solid football team, but so much has happened since then to Detroit's roster. And that's the huge
yeah,
difference. Like Minnesota's getting through these games unscathed. Another one today where let me just take a look at my notes here. Yeah, I don't think Pat Jones left the game. He's like one of their edge rushers who's had a good season. It looked like a bad knee injury. He got blocked pretty low. But aside from that, pretty healthy unit. Whereas, I mean, I talk about it with Detroit on a weekly basis, but just listing the guys who are on IR: Marcus Davenport, Aiden Hutchinson, John Kaminsky, Mekhi Wingo, Ali McNeil, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez, Carlton Davis. Like this is the game where I think the defense finally it might happen tomorrow night for all I know. I don't think it will
could.
because the 49ers O-line is so bad.
Yeah, they're
But
thin on offense too. That's just a lucky situation for the Detroit defense.
yeah, it's a tricky spot though because of like the asymmetric risk when it comes to the game, right? So you got this -2.5, -120. You might as well wait and just hope for a 3 versus betting it right away. That's just seems
Depends
like
who you ask.
it depends who you ask. Key number of 2, obviously. I do feel like I'm going to have a lot of interest in Minnesota in that game.
Me too. I can see that as well. But I do think that that is absolutely the right way to look at it, is to wait until um, the number kind of fleshes itself out a little bit more.
I will say, just from like pure, oh wow, that was a dime by Penix, but dropped. I will say this: with the way these teams have been priced for the vast majority of the season and for the latter half of the season, it's going to look to a lot of people like a short price on Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just going through
Yeah.
market ratings of how these teams have been priced as the year has gone on, and you probably would not have gotten anything sub 3 at any point this season. So it does, Vikings beat the Packers on essentially was like a standalone game because Miami Cleveland was going on and no one on earth was watching that or had that up on the big screen. That is very fresh. And I think some people might say, well, you got to fade the Vikings now. They're overvalued in market. But the Vikings are just really finding ways to win games consistently. And I don't see the resistance that the Lions defense is going to give them here. I just don't. Darnold has like this thing where he holds the ball a little bit too long. And it's pretty noticeable when against teams that can get home and can rush the passer. Was noticeable today against Green Bay in some instances. I don't think it's going to be noticeable against the Lions.
Yeah, and I'm looking back through Detroit's schedule of all the games that they've had and what offenses could have potentially exploited the defensive weaknesses, and it's really just been the Bills in Green Bay. I mean, they played the Bears twice in that span, Indy, Jacksonville, Houston, and then Green Bay again in Week 9, which I think was the first week that Hutchinson was out, if I'm remembering correctly. But since then, the defense has just got more and more, beat up, like you mentioned, but not a lot of teams to exploit it. It'll be a little different this week with a mostly healthy Vikings offense.
See, I've been doing a look ahead on Detroit for a while now, and I haven't found, in my opinion, the spot to want to bet against them in any recent weeks, even with all the defensive injuries, because I don't trust the opponents to exploit that.
Right.
I trust KOC and the Vikings offense to really exploit that. And the Vikings defense is playing some pretty sound football as well. Detroit does get a pretty big home field advantage for a primetime game. That place will be rocking. It'll be a buzzsaw, but I'm heavily leaning towards Minnesota. And by the way, if Minnesota wins that game, we could be headed towards a first round playoff matchup where the Lions go out on the road to take on the Bucks. Could be the 5 and 4 seed.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, that total in that game, I don't think can possibly, like, it will not open high enough for what I project that game to be.
Well, I remember the I don't remember the total of what it ended up at, but I remember the Tampa Philly game last year, and I think we talked about this right before the playoffs started that Tampa was very live with their offense versus a beat up Philly defense, and they were bad in the secondary last year.
Right.
I can see the same kind of thing happening if they play Detroit, like super, super dangerous situation for Detroit if they have to go and play in Tampa.
AJ Thomas says betting against Dan Campbell in primetime as a short fave is like betting against Mahomes as a dog/small fave. I would disagree because Mahomes is so far above every other quarterback in winning close games. And actually, Kevin O'Connell, I don't know what the exact record is, but Kevin O'Connell has to be up there with the best coaches in the league in terms of winning close games. I think that's been pretty consistent, at least this year. They're practicing all like the late game scenarios. They do it really well. There's like 5 coaches in the league that I think the team has a very clear grasp of what to do in every scenario. I would put the Vikings in that. Lord McGee says, Darnold has a legitimate chance at MVP if they beat the Lions in this game, right? I'm going to say absolutely not.
No, he's not going to get past Allen or Lamar.
No, it's going to be 0%. Kevin O'Connell is going to get all the credit. He already is. I mean, this will be actually interesting for Coach of the Year market because I know there's a lot of people who are holding Kevin O'Connell tickets that think it's sealed and that he's going to win it. If the Lions curb stomp the Vikings next week, it's going to be like a "what have you done for me lately" type of situation, right?
Oh, there's certainly a recency bias when it comes to those things where the whole body of work isn't necessarily looked at the right way. It's the most recent. You see it in the MVP voting too. Same type of thing happens where somebody has a huge game or somebody has a really, really bad game, and everything gets blown out of proportion as opposed to looking at the entirety of a season.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how that one develops, but I would imagine that I'm going to be in play on the Vikings in some capacity. I do think there's going to be back and forth on that game, by the way. Well, pretty much every Vikings game, to be completely
What
honest.
did we just miss in this Atlanta game? Weren't they about to kick? What did I miss? Was there a penalty?
4th and 4, field goal good, nullified by defensive offside.
Oh, all right, there you go. I didn't see it.
Classic. All you got to do is line up onside. I actually don't even know why they rushed the kick some of these times either. I don't know why they
happened in the Green Bay Minnesota game today too, where there was an offsides on a kick that moved it further up.
Kadarrell Hodge is getting some looks, man. That was another one. He's got 3 targets already early on in this game, just from a live betting perspective. That could be an interesting one. Okay, so we've covered 2 games with playoff implications. Denver has destiny in their own hand against Kansas City. Should they falter, should Kansas City beat them outright on the road, which would be a pretty big upset, the Miami Dolphins are in prime position. Miami is currently a 2.5-point favorite on the road at the New York Jets. The total in the game is 41. There's pushing 3 here on Miami, which is totally understandable. I think people are done with the Jets. Now,
overdue.
There's going to be a lot to parse in this game, and I can't touch it early on in the week. Tyrod Taylor came in relief of Aaron Rodgers late in the game today. I don't know who's going to start at quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is chasing some records at this point.
Well, he still needs 1 touchdown pass, I think, to get to a round number. Was it 5?
I don't know what. Okay, so he's chasing some sort of a historic number, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to be floored if Rodgers doesn't play, honestly, if that's the case, right? Albrecht says Rodgers is starting. There we go. Like he needs 500 touchdowns. It's happening. So you might as well just assume Aaron Rodgers is starting this game. Now we have Tua with a hip injury. He's rested a week. I think he's going to be back. But remember, like this was a must-win game for Miami today, and he couldn't play.
Yeah.
So that's a serious hip injury in some capacity, like enough that kept him out of the game. Jalen Waddle was inactive with the knee injury. Teron Armstead left again with a knee injury. You're looking at a pretty beat up Dolphins team. Kendall Fuller was put on IR this week. Anthony Walker didn't play today. Jets also suffered some injuries, which, we got to take note of. Sauce Gardner, who, he was 3 times DNP, tried to play today. He re-aggravated his hamstring injury and ended up leaving the game. They don't have a left tackle. Olu Fashanu on IR. But I got to tell you, man, I'm going to have some interest in the Jets at 3.
I think I'd have more interest in the total.
Okay. Actually, I didn't even look at the total right away. So walk me through it here. 41.
41. Yeah. Multiple scenarios I could see with injuries, people coming out of the game, not playing whole game, that kind of thing.
So you're looking towards the over?
No, the opposite, meaning like depending on who may or may not finish the game, but it's also dependent on if RJ Bell was right that Aaron Rodgers is starting, does he play the entire game? I don't know.
This is going to be our first disagreement this week. You've been getting the better of me on many of them. If I had to play a total in this game, I could not click under 41. Now, could be bad weather. It's going to be, listen, we're at that time of year. We had a heat wave in the Northeast coast this week, just lots of rain, but the temperatures went up a lot. Listen, if it's Huntley, this is a ridiculous number. It's not. This is in auto click the Jets. If it's Huntley today was efficient, he was fine. I was looking at one point and I'm like, okay, completion wise, 22 of 26, 225 and a touchdown. It's fine, but they really don't have a true functional offense. It's what was it? 4.9 yards per play. 36% success rate. They can't run the ball no matter what. That's not going to be a recipe for success. I don't know. Now you've worried me a little bit on my natural thinking. I don't think you can bet this game right away. Let me just start there.
No, you can't. No, that me saying this is just initial interest, if anything, would be that. But I kind of want to know more. Weather, obviously lineup stuff, but I do think that there's some upside of players not playing entire games. What I did see of Miami's offense today, because I tried to watch that game while I was watching some of the Vikings game at a bar, had both games up, and holy shit. Cleveland, dead team doesn't even cover what they looked like today, but I don't think the Jets are that dead.
Yeah. DTR he's unimaginably bad.
Yeah.
You whatever you imagine being a terrible quarterback, he's worse. And the funny thing is there's so much hype about that guy coming out of college because he's a good college quarterback and people were really excited for him. He sucks. I am saying officially top 5 worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. He is that bad. So, Miami's defense today, I wouldn't put much stock into that game altogether because, it was terrible to watch Cleveland's offense.
DTR looks like he could just fall down walking.
Yeah.
Or fumble for no apparent reason. It was really probably the ugliest quarterback performance I think I've seen this year. I can't think of a worse one.
Yeah, I'm with you. If Tua's in, you bet Miami minus 2.5. Yeah, you probably do. But my thinking is I would rather wait till the steam and play back on the Jets. I personally think that would be a more valuable position. Oh man, that was an ugly tackle on Jaden Daniels. He got up right away, but that was
second down play.
Yeah, you'll see the way he got taken down on this play, and it looked like yeah. Whew. I'm surprised he got up right away. That was
like a giant twist of
yeah.
legs don't look like they're supposed to bend that way.
3rd and 23. Let's please not do anything stupid. No forcing anything downfield. Just a quick pass. There we go. All right. All right. Now, sorry. Yeah, that was ugly. Should the Broncos lose and the Dolphins lose, the Bengals can get in. That game means something to both teams next week. The Steelers are playing for playoff positioning. The Bengals are playing for their lives. Cincinnati on the road at Pittsburgh. Steelers have a little bit of extra time to prepare, having played Christmas Day game. Bengals in that between 2 and 3 range on the road at Pittsburgh. Total in the game, 48.5.
Pittsburgh certainly turned into pumpkins, didn't they?
They did. I don't know about this. I think this line is fine. Pittsburgh has definitely come down to earth because the last time these teams played in Cincinnati, I vividly recall the Steelers just moving the ball at will in that game. Like the Bengals defense could not get off the field. Now I really wonder what that's going to look like. But I will say the Steelers in recent weeks, since that Week 13 game against Cincinnati, they've played the Browns defense, the Eagles defense, the Ravens defense, the Chiefs defense. They really have gone up against either a good defense or a really strong defensive coordinator for 4 straight weeks now. And I'm not sold on the Bengals going out on the road. I think Pittsburgh can easily move it here.
I think this is a team finally like that Pittsburgh's going to have an opportunity to run the ball again like they might want to. That would be my biggest concern when I look at this particular matchup for them. And the Bengals defense is objectively really, really rough.
Yeah. I mean, they've gone so we all knew the Steelers were frauds. Okay, let's just call it. I'm sorry if you're a Steelers fan. I'm not here to stomp on the parade, but we knew that they got to this point where they were just not in that elite level, and they played, like I said, they've had these games against the Eagles, the Ravens, the Chiefs. They've got dominated by the elite level teams, right? And those teams can all play good defense. Now, I don't really have an excuse for them not moving the ball on KC. To be honest with you, Chris Jones was out. There's issues in the secondary that they should have been able to exploit. But this is going to be a much, much better matchup for them, for that offense. So at this current price, I'll tell you, I don't want Cincy, even though, I've pretty much been anti-Pittsburgh for a while now. I don't really even want the over, honestly, even though I'm pretty high on generally like to play the Bengals overs. I think the market's adjusted to that a little bit. I think this is another wait and see type of game, but if any Pittsburgh 3 surfaces, I don't think I can lay off Pittsburgh 3.
Yeah, I think both of these numbers right now are fine, both the total and the spread. And I agree with you. If the Bengals steam out to get a full 3 on Pittsburgh, I think I would want that too.
Right. I mean, the Bengals played, it was a weird game. Cincy Denver was a really weird game for me because it really felt like the Bengals offense was humming, but Burrow ate, I don't even know how many sacks he ate in that game, but it must have been 7+ because they had a lot of big negative plays and they were still able to overcome them. It was a weird game in which I felt at times Denver's defense played really good, but then there was receiver. It was just a weird game all around.
I felt like for whatever reason, anytime the Bengals had the ball in that game, any drive that they could score. But at the same time, to your point, they did come up with a few big negative plays, and I don't know that game should have been as close as it was. I don't know if anybody else agrees with me or not, but it looked like the Bengals dominated that game in terms of most of the plays that I saw. But for whatever reason, that wasn't translating into points.
Yeah. On the Bengals side, Amarius Mims, a right tackle, left the game. He had a hand injury. Chase Brown got hurt at the end of that game on the sliding play, but avoided a big injury, apparently. I like Chase Brown a lot. I think he's a very dynamic player. On defense, I would really like to see the status of Sheldon Rankins and Sam Hubbard. Rankin's been out for a while now. He's got some sort of sickness. I don't actually know what's going on there, to be honest, but he's been out since week 11. Sam Hubbard has a knee injury. He was inactive last week. Without those guys in the starting front four, they're not great players, but I've talked about Cincy's depth in the front seven on defense before. Logan Wilson is out. That's bad. The Steelers have an equally bad situation developing in the secondary if Joey Porter can't play. He missed last week's game with a knee injury. The Chiefs offense looked very functional in that game, more than functional. That was one of the best performances I've seen of the Chiefs offense in a while. But yeah, I don't know. At this price, I tend to agree with Clive. I think there's nothing here, but I'm going to have a real conversation with myself at Steelers 3, which seems to be the way that it's trending at this point.
Yeah, and at some point, I think you could put the end game decisions of the coaches and the players on that Cincy Denver game up for significant discussion, because that was brutal. I know Chase Brown went and slid. That play and almost got hurt, but he should have gone down in bounds 2 plays before, if I'm remembering right.
Well, yeah. So there was I think that Chase Brown going out of bounds was a big error.
Yes.
And to me, that's both on the player and the coaching staff. The coaching staff's got to let the players know the situation. They got to practice it. He's also got to be smart enough to stay in bounds. That was a fuck up. They passed 3 straight times, had a couple incompletions. It was a disaster. But once they finally got into the red zone or into like first and goal situation, I thought they played that fine. The problem is that if you are going to hand the ball off to Brown, like they did, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bring that into play, that possibility into play, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to get 5 extra yards so you can kick more of a chip shot field goal than you are already, instead of just kneeling it and just basically draining the clock. And you can drain the clock in that situation, give the ball back to the Bengals with basically 15 to 20 seconds left and no timeouts. And that seems like the very obvious thing to do. Now, field goal's not guaranteed, but it is a chip shot. You're probably hitting that 98% plus. And I think by handing it to Brown there, they just brought that possibility of an offensive injury into play. And they ended up having to burn a timeout themselves. It's just a complete clusterfuck there.
Yeah, Denver should not have had anywhere near the amount of time that they had to get down the field. And that was just really, really bad.
Yeah. It was honestly just a tough game to watch all around. It was Zach Taylor. I've never really respected as a coach. Sean Payton for a long time I did, but some of the in-game decision-making is borderline laughable. And then, by the way, in overtime, there's 3 minutes left, and Sean Payton is burning timeouts to keep the clock going. It's like, Ty is good for you, man.
What are you doing?
Yeah, just don't take the timeouts. That's why after the game, he came out and said, well, they didn't go for 2 in regulation because, they knew that a tie would help them in overtime. I don't think he knew that a tie. I am calling BS on that.
Well, then your decision-making afterward did not tie, no pun intended, did not tie up with what you thought was good for you. Like, how can you possibly take timeouts there?
I just do not believe that he actually knew that a tie was good in real time. Some people might say, like, Rob, you're insane. There's no way he didn't know that. Someone on he was deliberately using timeouts to keep clock in overtime. I don't know what the explanation is for that. Someone tweeted at me, well, what if his defense was tired? I mean, I think I still probably don't use the timeouts. And they just play tired at that point.
Idiocy. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah. So that's it for the AFC. Chiefs are locked into 1. Bills are locked into 2. Ravens are locked into 3. That can't change. Texans are locked into 4. It's really the Steelers playing for positioning, as are the Chargers. So we could talk about the Chargers game next week, because that is important. If the Chargers can move up to 5, they then get the Texans instead of the Ravens or the Bills, right? Which is a massive difference. So the Chargers are on the road at Las Vegas. Early market in this game, Chargers -5.5, -120. Total is 40.5. And I got to say, I do think that this opener is a tad high. Now, what are the Raiders playing for? Jobs, I guess. Playing for Antonio Pierce.
Great.
Like
They shouldn't.
I mean, they definitely shouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not laying this price with the Chargers.
No, and I do not, again, not to get to narrative kind of shit, but I don't look at the Raiders and Pierce and that team as a team looking to quote unquote lay down either.
I think 40.5 is a low total for this game.
I kind of thought so too.
Yeah. I think it has to be 41 or higher, honestly.
Yeah, that did feel a little light.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking the Raiders offense is, I don't want to say sneaky good, but it's not bad. Like they AOC can move the ball. He's got weapons. I don't think he's the best quarterback around, but he's a fine backup. Today, 10 for 18 on third down. They 388 yards in the Saints defense on the road. They didn't turn it over. They held the ball for 37-50. The Chargers do have some injuries on defense. With Elijah Molden getting hurt last week. Denzel Perriman's been out with a groin injury. Team's been able to run the ball on them a little bit more. And then the Chargers will throw, and they're throwing a lot lately. Like they're starting to, that game against New England, they recognize that New England doesn't have a pass rush. We are going to drop Herbert back and toss it all over the field. And that worked really well. And the Raiders don't have much of a semblance of a pass rush anymore. I mean, they're missing their best 3 players on the defensive line. So I think this total's too low.
I agree. I definitely agree. I saw more of I think the Raiders game than I would have liked today, but you're right. Like their offense was okay. They're not completely incompetent. I mean, they're still in the bottom quarter of the league, but they're not Cleveland DTR incompetent at all. I think calling AOC a fine backup is probably a fair description.
Yep. Okay, so I was wrong. Thank you for the chat for correcting me. I see you, Zach Wilk. I see you, Beat Gamer. Appreciate that. So let's talk about that game as well. By the way, Patrick says 41.5 already is getting bet up. Chargers and Raiders. It's what we do. The Novig CLV has been pretty good on the show.
Yeah, I mean, since Caustic's been tracking it, I think, we've had a pretty decent ROI too.
Yep. And now that I see the Ravens spread, it makes a lot of sense. And had I looked at that earlier, I definitely would have realized that they have something to play for. So if the Ravens lose at home to Cleveland next week, they could lose the 3 spot. They could lose the division to the Steelers. So it is paramount that they win the game.
I got it.
Yeah. So Jason has plugged in a scenario here where Cleveland beats Baltimore and Pittsburgh beats Cincinnati. And you could see that the 3 and 5 would change. Although going on the road to Houston, I don't think would be the end of the world again for Baltimore, considering what we just saw this past week in a 31-2 final. Ravens 17.5 point favorites. 42.5 is the total. My only hesitation with laying this price with the Ravens is that there are scenarios where they could be up enough that they just take it easy towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say that. Yep.
And this game, like the NFL will put this at the same time, I think, as Pittsburgh. Actually, maybe not. Not necessarily. We'll have to see what the time of the games are as well. But that'll play a factor depending on what the start time is for Cleveland, Baltimore, which I don't think we have yet. unfortunately. If anyone could let me know when they do see those. And Pat Kappa says maybe Ravens first half. The problem is I'm going to guarantee you it's going to be priced pretty large. They tend to do these in week 18. They're not stupid with the openers. Minus 10.5 first half is Ravens price right now. The Browns are not, like, if DTR starts again, I don't know what their ceiling is for points, but it's
6.
It's not high. He fucking sucks. They suck. Even worse for this matchup is the Ravens have a really good run defense, one of the best in the league. I don't really know how that's going to work out for Cleveland's offense. DTR still hasn't led a single TD drive this year. That doesn't surprise me.
Well, who are they down to in running backs? Foreman and who else?
Did Ford play today? I think Ford played, no?
Ford played and got hurt.
Yeah.
And I think Foreman got the majority of the carries the rest of the way.
They have Pierre Strong as well as
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I laid a big price with Baltimore against the Giants a few weeks back. I'm not scared to lay big numbers with the Ravens.
No, this is just situational that you just don't know. I mean,
yeah,
how that game will play out.
Yeah. What was the total for that game? I briefly missed it.
Today's game?
42.5 for this Ravens-Browns game. Yeah.
Yes. 42.5 as an 18-point favorite.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Everything, like, I'm not clicking Ravens early. There's no sense in clicking Ravens early. Like, even if they get steamed out, like, what am I going to lose? I'm going to lose 18 as the number. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure that matters. I mean, what are we looking at? A 30-12 implied score, roughly? I mean, Jesus.
Daniels tossed a pick over the middle of the field.
Oh.
I heard, I saw Kyle Crimson here
hold
earlier saying bad start for the under. Well, that's exactly what you want for the under. Red zone INT.
He never saw him.
No. It was like Caden Ellis. Yep, I know. Jaden walks off the field patting his chest. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm not going to do. Like a lot of people who lost their fantasy football finals today. I'm not going to tweet directly at the player and start yelling at him. I'm also not going to tweet at the sports book for asking for a refund when the player leaves the game with an injury. Because you know what, Clive? Foreign concept to many. But there is an under. You can bet the under. Hilarious. All right. So I think we've covered the AFC. People in the chat satisfied? Have I forgotten anything? I think I've covered every scenario there. Colts are eliminated. Jets are eliminated. There's no other. I don't even know why I said Jets. They're 4-12. They're just like the next player in the next team in the standings. I think we got all that. NFC is a bit more of a shit show because it's so much is dependent on this game tonight.
Well, it's almost all seeding, right? Like, other than the NFC North that we already talked about.
Well, if the Falcons beat Washington tonight, then Seahawks can make the playoffs.
True.
Rams matters next week.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, and there's also, I believe, if that happens, the Rams can still clinch tomorrow night if the 49ers win as well. So, like, there's more to it because of, like, the strength of schedule. I know that the Eagles are locked in at 2 with a 13-3 record. It's a Vikings-Lions we've covered already.
Mm-hmm.
Packers will be playing for positioning. Bucks and Falcons could potentially be playing for the division. Bucks technically could be playing for a wild card as well if Washington loses today. Pretty hard to parse.
The Bucks have the Saints. Right, yeah. Bucks have the Saints at home. Atlanta has Carolina at home.
Yeah. Might have to break down the NFC with Austin Mock in the fourth quarter today, depending on the score in this game.
Yeah, might make it a little easier.
Steven Robinson, Giants playing to get the 9th overall pick. Love that. Love that. I know. It's tough. It's like one of the few times you just want to watch your franchise lose every game, and they win the game that you just don't want to see them win. I don't know. I know the guys are playing for something. There's pride. They're still going to end up with a great draft pick, but first overall is first overall. You get your player, whoever you want, and that's got to be super annoying as a fan.
Well, yeah, and it's not like the Giants don't have multiple needs either. If the quarterback isn't what they want at 1, then you have options too. When you have the first pick, you have a ton of choices, and that was just stupid. I don't know if this was from today's game. I didn't like fact check it. I saw a picture of the owner Mara just like kind of like shaking his head. I don't know if somebody just picked that from another spot and threw it in there, or if that was really related to this game. I'm curious if anybody else knew that. But I mean, that's what I would be thinking at that point. Like, it just felt like a giant fuck you from the Giants to ownership.
Yep. Totally agree. Let's see if we could logic our way to some of these other games. Let's actually stay in the AFC because I'm really interested in this one. Buffalo is favored on the road at New England. Buffalo is going to very likely start Mitch Trubisky at quarterback next week.
Yes. We need more Mitch.
They don't have another QB on the roster. Right? You know, I considered Indy might go to like Sam Ehlinger if Richardson isn't ready to play, and they like just because it's a throwaway game. But Buffalo's going to be Trubisky at this point. They're 1.5 point favorites. Total's 40.5. I know the Patriots suck, and their O-line is a disaster. They got rinsed by the Chargers this week, but this is another level for the Patriots to be dogs at home to Mitch Trubisky and potentially a lot of backups. Or are you not with me?
Yeah, I was going to say, no. What I was going to say is you don't even know what the rest of the lineup's going to look like, from a defensive standpoint or who's going to sit. Is Amari Cooper going to sit for the game? I don't know if I'd play him. I probably wouldn't play Cook. So it's kind of tough.
I mean, if anyone is coming in with any sort of pre-existing injury or banged up, you don't play them if you're the Bills because you're not getting the bye.
No.
So you basically do not play anyone who is remotely valuable, in my opinion. I'm not saying that's what McDermott's going to do. I'm going to have to read the tea leaves on some McDermott quotes this week because he's another guy who doesn't like to outright state things. The Patriots
cryptic.
The Patriots could shut it down too, though. That's what scares me because Christian Gonzalez got hurt this week. He got a concussion. He left the game. They don't really have corners. Marcus Jones is on IR. Ben Brown, their center, has a concussion.
I think you can give Mitch Trubisky all the time in the world to throw. I don't know if he's going to throw it to the right team.
Yeah.
I saw enough of him in Chicago. And in Pittsburgh, for that matter. It's kind of tough.
So Mayo is definitely coaching for his job. They need to lose to get the number 1 pick. Well, we all saw how that works out already. The players on the field, once they're dressed, they're going to play. It's just a matter of who the Patriots the Patriots could go full tank mode, right? It could happen. I don't think that they necessarily will. You kind of want to get the reps for Drake May, but he left the game this week and got evaluated for a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
Do they give reps to Joe Milton in the final game of the year? I don't know. That could happen. There's a lot of avenues for the Patriots just to say fuck it for this game as well.
Yeah.
But if we don't get that this week, I have to click Patriots at this price.
Reasonable.
They gave Buffalo a game in Buffalo a couple weeks ago.
Also true. They're in a lot of trouble with that defense, though, against like a full.
Well, the whole team sucks. Only they have a quarterback. That's it. And we don't know that for sure. I just happen to but they don't have an O-line. They don't have receiving weapons. Their defense.
I don't think any of the other rookies I don't think any of the other rookies could done as well. And it's not like I don't know what the right word for it. It's not like there was a lot of team success for the Patriots, but Drake May really made the best out of a shit situation where I don't think anybody else could have done anywhere near as well. Like if you put Caleb Williams in that situation, I think he looks even worse than he does now,
Oh yeah,
as an example.
I would agree. We've seen Caleb Williams behind a bad O-line, and we know what that looks like. It's a lot worse than Drake May.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry might be the only starting caliber player outside of QB. It's true. They are a bunch of backups when you do think about it. So it's tough. All right. I retract my previous commentary.
I think these are all live betting situations.
Yeah. Houston at Tennessee next week. Houston will definitely go all backups. They are locked.
They can't move, right?
They can't move. This is such a weird number, by the way.
Come on,
Tennessee
Fowler,
minus 3.5, 35.5. That is, it's very weird to see Tennessee priced in. They'll fuck it up somehow. I can tell you right now. It's going to be Davis Mills. Davis Mills is fine. He's competent, at least. They don't have a ton of injuries where they're going to be holding guys out of the game. They'll hold Shaq Mason out for sure. Who knows who's going to play at wide receiver? That's the real problem. Nico Collins probably doesn't play in the game.
I mean, there's plenty of reasons to root for the Texans in this game now.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Fez Steam Game of the Year. I saw that. I mean,
so generous of him to grade himself at like 165 or whatever.
I'll save my comments for another day on that one.
That's what circle back's for.
Yeah, it's bordering on ridiculous, but at this point. All right. I don't think anything to do here at this current price. Again, this is week 18. You got to keep up with news over the course of the week as Bijan's in the end zone. Touchdown Atlanta. Makes
Daniel Cook.
Go ahead.
No, Daniel Cook. Mills might be better than Stroud right now. I think there's definitely a lot of Stroud commentary to be had too.
Stroud is not playing well. Even when Stroud has a clean pocket, his accuracy is pretty bad. It's he's just not. Stroud is not a good quarterback right now. Davis Mills is not better. I strongly disagree, but Mills is fine.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Mills is fine.
It's more of I think the flip on Stroud. He's getting pressured more. He's in more third and longs. You're down to Nico Collins. It's tough. You can't. It's really hard to survive on third and long the way that they have for the majority of the year. I'll be really interested to see what they get priced at come playoff time.
So I will say this. Maybe Jason can pull this up. By the way, I don't think Bijan is in here. I think he stepped out of bounds and the ball is still behind him.
It looks like the ball was behind his right hip.
Yeah.
He's still in. Yeah, I don't think he's in either.
Yeah.
Nope, first and goal.
AJ Thomas. Tajay Spears is out, I believe. Yeah, he got concussed today. I don't think they'll push that. Pollard's been inactive. Tennessee is like Dylan Radins, their right guard was out today. Jalen Duncan, who's playing right tackle for them because they actually made Nicholas Petit-Frere a healthy scratch. He got injured today with a shoulder injury. They have issues in the linebacking core. They have issues in the secondary. You know, they're a disaster is what it comes down to. Disaster is what it comes down to. Okay. What else we got in the AFC? We got Jags at Colts. I mean,
he's not in.
What is this one? Jacksonville's done. Colts are done. What is the downside in betting Jags early here if this is the price? Tell me what I'm missing other than the Jags. other than the Jags being ass. Let's make sure it's still up on the board here. Yeah, 5.5. Obviously, the downside is not capturing 6 relative to 5, 44.5. I mean, are the Colts going to seriously play next week's game?
Well, I guess in your mind, is Steichen playing for his job?
Well, I don't think so. That's a good question. I don't think so. But they do have a crazy owner. So it's...
Yes. I could see a quick trigger. And I mean, I would think that he as a head coach has underperformed this year. And that's not because not because he's got some stud in Anthony Richardson or anything like that. I just think it feels like his team hasn't been prepared for a lot of these spots and just not played well.
It's a good point.
But that doesn't mean that they're going to pull trigger.
Well, no. It is a fair... This is why we do the show together, Clive, because it is a fair point. Today was an epic failure for them. It leaves a pretty sour taste in ownership's mind at this point. And there could be something within that org that does feel the need to win. I mean, I think the best thing for the org is to lose next week. Obviously, they're not making the playoffs. Sure. But I don't know. It just feels weird to me. Anthony Richardson missed today. Didn't practice at all this week. I don't know that they would force him
next week.
He had a foot injury, he had a back injury. He was like multiple listings on the injury report this week. So yeah, my initial gut was like, why would you go to Flacco if Richardson can't play? Might as well throw Sam Ehlinger in there and just, get the guy some reps at this point. But Zach Smith, Steichen 100% type who wants to win by 30 and then celebrate like today didn't happen. Good points. Appreciate the chat in times like this.
I think somebody else said Flacco is not anywhere near ready to retire either. So he's probably, I think he'd love the opportunity to play for another backup job somewhere too.
Yeah. Well, Flacco can dice the Jags pass defense. I know Flacco, I mean, he should have diced the Giants today too. Let's call it for what it is. But he should be able to.
Well, they just got owned by Drew Lock somehow. I mean,
that was very surprising to me. The Colts have played really good defense for the latter half of the year. They have been sound defensively. I don't like arbitrary endpoints, but last 5 or 6 weeks they've been a top 10 EPA and success rate defense. They just got shredded today. They gave up tons of explosives to the Giants who never generate explosives. That was very unusual, I will say.
1.18 EPA per play for Drew Lock.
He had like a 99th percentile performance today. He did. It was unbelievable. It was his legacy game.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants only had a 40% success rate. I'm looking through this stuff now for the first time. But wow. Jeez.
It was just listen, my betting partner is a Colts fan. And I saw the messages coming through on WhatsApp and Telegram today. And I didn't have many eyes on that game. I could just tell you that. I've never experienced someone go through as much pain as I think he did today watching the Colts. Just epic disaster.
I know I had some conversations with some people earlier on Twitter this year about thinking that the Colts were frauds and going back. I don't think AR is any good as a quarterback, and I don't think he's going to develop into anything good. I think he's a running back that can throw the ball long occasionally. I just didn't see much of a future for that team this year, period.
I just got sent a tweet from Colton Pouncey, who is the Detroit Lions reporter for The Athletic. And it's a Dan Campbell video where he says he was asked about resting starters, and he said, we're bringing everything we've got to this game. So that's in reference to tomorrow night's game, which was what we talked about off the top. But Very much expected. McAfee also ripped the Colts 30 minutes ago. Yep, doesn't surprise me whatsoever. All right.
What did we say last week about the Colts? Did you have anything on this game? I don't remember if you said anything this today.
I lost some Colts teasers today. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that ruined a pretty strong teaser day. Aside from that, I don't know. It's kind of just right on the number all week. I didn't bet the over. Probably should have, but like, you know my opinion on game day market. There was nothing that really fundamentally changed in that game. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily trust my opinion there, but I thought that number was a little low. Talked about it on Pizza Buffet this morning. What are you going to do? NFC side of things. I think we've covered all the AFC games where things are a lot easier to talk about in the early going here. What do we got on the board for NFC here? Jason, you can just throw up anything in the NFC on screen.
Seattle Rams, I guess.
Oh, what do we got here? I was looking at some Leafs news. Love that. Seattle Rams 2.5. See, again, I don't want to, I guess we could think about this probabilistically, right? The Rams need a victory from either the Commanders tonight. So what's the midpoint live price right now? Fair line is probably plus 120 or so. Yeah. Let's say fair line is plus 115. Convert betting odds. Should be able to do this off the top of my head, but I'm terrible at this stuff. Plus 115, 46.5%. So they need that outcome, or they need 49ers to win tomorrow night, which is roughly 38% in market right now. 46, 38. So they need one of those two outcomes to happen, basically. Which is still way more
of like the point differentials in the West, and Seahawks are the only team with a positive 2 points for versus points against. Everyone else is negative. Geez.
You know what? I think Seattle's got to be a bet here in the early going.
I didn't see the number that you put up. Sorry, what was it? Was 2.5?
It was 2.5. But I'll tell you this: if the Rams clinch the division, I can say I'm never going to say things with certainty. We might live in a simulation. I don't know. I'm going to say 99% the Rams are benching everyone. McVay is cuck central.
He will do
this
that
last year.
Yes.
They played a game against Darnold in the final week of the season. And even if they don't, and this game means something, I think Seattle 2.5 is probably fine. I know they look disgusting at Chicago. I don't know if people have realized what the Rams offense is right now. It's not good. I mean, look at Stafford's numbers for going on a month now. I think people think of the Rams offense much differently than it has actually performed in recent weeks.
Agree with that. The Rams have definitely trended downward. I mean, do you trust Geno Smith to win you a big game either, though?
No, but there's a scenario here where the Rams clinch.
True. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Seattle will definitely put in the performance of like, we're better than the Rams, like one of those. You know what I'm saying? Leave the season on a high note. They start the starters for the game, and you there's no way that this ends up being the price in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, although I should point out though, Rams backup quarterback is Jimmy G. It's not a terrible, complete scrub of a backup.
No, it's not a disaster. It's not
Seattle's
great,
backup quarterback, if they were ever to go that way, would be Sam Howell. And he'll take...
Yeah, AJ, didn't the Rams beat San Francisco with backups last year?
Yeah.
Yes, but
the 49ers played backups for a half.
Yeah.
I think. Darnold played that game. I bet I lost that bet. I'll remember it. The 49ers were up
too.
for the majority of the game, and then the Rams scored 2 late touchdowns to end up winning that game. San Fran rested players as the game went on, more and more. Yeah, I think Seattle's a good bet early going here, just based off of
the scenarios that could possibly happen. And even if they don't, it's just a scenario with a lot of upside.
Well, you got 2 underdogs. You got Washington now, who's an underdog live. You got San Fran now, who's an underdog live. But based off of their probabilities, they're actually favorites, right? Like one of those 2 outcomes is favored.
You only need one, right?
Yeah, it was Darnold versus Wentz. That's what it was. Nailed it. Owl never saw a sack he didn't like. And honestly, I don't think I hate I think Seattle Rams 2.5 is a fine price, regardless. Like if the game means something, I think that price is fine. I will say, very unusual with the Rams Cardinals. Rams had like a big home field advantage for that game. Did you see how fucking loud it was at SoFi last night? I don't know if you watched last night's game.
No, I couldn't. That's the one game that I missed. Yeah.
It was fucking loud, man. Like really rare. Really rare. Very surprising.
Man, Washington cannot, one, get out of their own way, but they don't look particularly good.
What do we got going on here so far? Commanders 5.1 yards per play. Atlanta 5.1. Pretty even on the yards per play front. Neither team
just the one pick,
convert a third down. Pick. Well, they both had a bad pick, really. Penix threw the terrible one, and Daniels threw one over the middle of the field.
Yep.
So it's actually a really relatively even game right now, box score wise. Penalties are killing Washington. 5 for 40 would be the biggest difference that I see in the early going here. Seahawks need a lot of help, even if they get Lions and Falcons results. That's true. They're not, Rams are very strong. Seahawks are like barely holding on in any capacity. Giants at the Eagles is open. Eagles are locked in. Going to be okay. So this was actually an interesting one because Saquon hit 2,000 yards today. I think he needs 106 yards to pass Eric Dickerson. I feel like after the game, he said he's going to do whatever Sirianni tells him to do. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to get him that record. And I do see him.
You think so?
Man, this hasn't happened in 40 years in the NFL.
Yeah, but how much leash would you give him to get it? I guess is more of my question. Would you give him a half to make sure he picks up X amount of the yards, and if he doesn't, you just shut him down? Or like, no matter what, do you just give him the full game? I feel like there would be some sort of point where it's just like, all right, sorry, throw in the towel.
It's true. Do you just start him and hand off every single snap until you hit the yardage and then that's it?
I mean, Saquon revenge game.
It is a difference. It's 17 games versus 16, but he will have the most rushing yards of anyone in a single season if he picks up that yardage.
Yeah, this is the Roger Maris home run record versus Babe Ruth scenario where there's more games.
If he starts, what do you think he'll be priced at? What was he priced at today? Is a better question.
Minus 200, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to get 100 yards. I think that was the number.
But his actual rushing yardage at FanDuel was.
Let me see if I can get it.
113.5. It closed at FanDuel. 113.5. Probably be around the same next week. I don't think that they would deviate from it significantly because I think as soon as he breaks it, he's out, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I would argue that if he plays, it's probably a good bet. If it's in the same range, I would bet the under.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
And you just hope he doesn't. His final carry doesn't go off for like 20 yards or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that number wasn't that high for his just to break 100 yards today.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm not touching. I'm
yeah,
not
that's
digging
the
it.
thing. It's like I'm sure Sal will have all these things out for us next week to kind of opine over which records people are going for and all that nonsense. But Sirianni doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to push the envelope too far just to get him the record.
Yeah. Xander says there's no way they're playing him. We're going to see. We're going to see. Chicago, Green Bay. Green Bay is still playing for seeding. Chicago is playing for nothing. They are done. They're coming off a disaster class. One of my favorite Slipknot songs, Disaster Class, at home against the Seahawks. Chicago has no offensive linemen. Braxton Jones is on IR. Ryan Bates is on IR. Tevin Jenkins has a calf injury, which he missed last week. I don't know if they're going to bring him back for a useless game. It's pretty hard to be competitive in football when you have no offensive line and your quarterback just eats sack after sack, cannot process anything in real time. If Green Bay takes this game seriously, this is short, in my opinion.
Yeah, if a hypothetical that may matter, may not, I guess. If this wasn't Thomas Brown trying to coach for a job, potentially, if he really does have a shot at getting that head coach job, which I don't think he does. But let's just say there was another head coach that was locked in. Given this offensive line scenario, given that the Bears had nothing to play for, would you be running Caleb Williams against the Packers in this game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any conversation about sitting him down. Let's put it that way.
No, I don't think with the current situation. I was thinking about it from the perspective of he's not in a position to succeed at this point.
He is not. But Tyson Bagent will be behind there, and it's going to be real rough for him just as much. Darnell Mooney caught that ball, first one of the day for 12 yards, sweating some Darnell Mooney unders. Don't want him to put together a big drive here. It's hard to say with Green Bay, right? Because I don't know how much the seeding is going to matter for them. I have to wait and see this play out over the course of the week here. They won't have an opportunity to move up to 5. It'll just be between 6 and 7, I believe, for them. I'm pretty sure.
I guess it's dependent on what the Commanders do today, right? Like if the Commanders lose, who has the tie break?
Sorry, I got distracted because of a near interception here. What do they do? Like, this has got to be some of the most disgraceful clock management. What is these teams in the last 2 minutes that just opt to play for field goal wait so long? I get you don't want to give the ball back to Washington with time left, but let's,
why are you playing for 3? Like, you could still play for 7. You have your timeouts.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
Washington has the tiebreak. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do think Green Bay is going to play because I don't think they want to.
You want to avoid the Eagles. Yeah, you want to avoid the Eagles at all costs. You much rather play the Rams or Bucks or Seahawks or Falcons or whatever. So
exactly.
So it's
Raheem is a terrible coach.
He's brutal.
Oh, that wasn't even close.
They didn't use a timeout on this drive. They're facing
for next half. Can't take him with you.
I mean, he did suck as a coach the first time round in terms of decision making, but
nothing's changed.
Wow. That was the old banana dick in and around the goalpost there.
I haven't seen it yet.
You'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the old
Oh, yikes.
the one that defies physics a little bit. It's just got like a little curve, you know? But that was a larger, more pronounced curve.
Wow.
Larger, more. I think we've covered everything that we can. I think that's everything.
Well,
that's
Tampa
listed.
has to win no matter what next week, right? I guess we could talk about that game too.
Yeah, I just Tampa has to win, and they're posted. You're right. Tampa is going to be laying a massive. I haven't seen it yet. I'm just waiting for Jason to pull it up on screen. It is going to be an absurd. You're not going to imagine Tampa should ever be laying the price that they're going to be laying, in my opinion, when we see it. There it is. 13.5 minus 115. Actually, a little bit shorter than I thought it would be. 43.5 is the total. New Orleans is not a real football team with Spencer Rattler as the quarterback. They are what some people on Twitter might call an unserious team. I watched a lot of the Raiders
the total
game today.
Would have been a little lower.
Yeah. Is there a chance that New Orleans goes back to Jake Haener? Because he's got to be better than Spencer Rattler.
I don't think so.
Because they went Haener over Rattler at the beginning, did they not? I'm getting them so confused right now. They both suck, don't get me wrong, and there's no offensive weapons there. So, it's pretty hard to move the ball when you don't have Rashid Shaheed, Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave. Kendry Miller got a concussion today. He left the game as well. They're missing starting guard, starting center. What sense would it make to bring Olave back next week? I don't know, but maybe they will.
I mean, I wouldn't do that.
He got 3 full practices this week. He's in the eligible window. It's like, but you have a coach playing for his job, I guess. I don't know.
I guess it's possible. It's that same angle of an interim coach. He's one that I don't think has any shot, I don't believe, of getting a head coaching job at any point.
It's not happening. That can't happen.
This is not an audition.
I refuse to believe it is. Few matchups things here. Todd Bowles will make Spencer Rattler look very confused for this game. It's what he does. He's very good at that, especially down some offensive linemen. That's going to be a disaster. Mike Evans going for 1,000 as well. You got to know that for your props. I'm not going to be the guy that tweets out every single one of them. And actually, you think that market is mostly done for now as people have been aware of that, but that's something as well. Tampa Bay today moved the ball effortlessly against Carolina. The Panthers were missing several defensive starters. The Saints, while they do have a poor defense, they are at least healthy. I don't think I'm getting involved here. I don't think one way or another I'm getting involved. Number seems a little bit high, honestly, but I'm not there on New Orleans. I can't get there.
No, the only thing that I'll consider is a Bucs team total over. But like I said, the total's a touch higher than I was hoping it would be. I was hoping it would be more like 42 and a half. Yeah. But Tampa was humming.
Completely agree. I think that's Bucs offense are third in success rate and fifth in EPA on the season. Crazy. You better hope it's not Detroit at Tampa, AJ. I know you're a Lions fan. Detroit gets the 5 seed and Tampa gets the 4. Baker's going to cook. Baker going to cook.
Oh, God. What's his strength of schedule been?
Baker's strength of schedule?
No, just meaning the Bucs. Like, what defenses have they really played? I'm just looking back through.
For the season, if I do, let me see what I got them as adjusted.
They did beat up on the Chargers. That was one. Casey was meh.
They've played
Baltimore
pretty much, I would say, a very average defense. 14th adjusted success rate, 21st adjusted EPA is the schedule that they faced so far this year.
He's been good. Can't take it away from him. I mean, Liam Cohen has been amazing as a play caller.
He should be
Their first
he's
quarter
good.
points.
He's going to get looks for head coach. I know it's been one
Oh,
like
for sure.
he's going to get looks. It would kind of suck for
But what
Tampa
they
Bay
should
if
do
they
is
lost OC back-to-back years.
they should fire Bowles and give Liam the head
Yeah.
coaching job. That's really what they should do. I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Maybe they promise him something, or I don't know. But like, I don't think they want to lose him. He and Baker seem like a very, very strong fit together.
I want to see the times for next week's games. That's what I'm hoping to get soon. There's usually some really good live betting opportunities in week 18. I'm not the biggest live better. I do some second half stuff. But I like to enjoy the games. I build up positions over the course of the week on many things. I like to sit back. I like to watch. I like to process stuff in real time. And week 18 is one where I will sit around at my computer and live bet because there's just so many good opportunities based off the scores if they don't get the start times right of the games. So that'll be interesting. What's the second half line here? If we could bring it up on screen, Jason. Because unless I see something in the box score here, second half spread, if we can get 5.5 minus 120, it's expensive. Who got the ball first in this game? Did Penix throw a pick on the first drive?
Yes. Believe so.
Man, the Falcons have 66% success rate on offense. They cannot be stopped on the ground. 88% success rate on 17 rush plays. That's going to be a hard pass on Washington. Hard. If Atlanta can salt away the game by running the ball, and there's no reason to think that they can't because the Commanders are one of the worst run defenses in the entire league, I can't hit that.
Yeah, this just happens to be, I think, a good matchup for what Atlanta wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't be surprised if there looks like there is some Washington steam, or has been since open here for the second half, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
When will we start getting times and the announcements of when teams are playing?
You know what? If I could remember past yesterday, I would think back to last year and tell you, but I'm losing my memory.
I don't know why I felt like we knew by now. Like when we did our show last year in week 17, I could have swore we knew more.
It's got to be, this game has to be delaying it. I think we'll know. I think they need the result of this game in order to start setting the schedule for this week. So I actually don't think it's going to happen till post game.
Yeah.
Man, I really want to find some more stuff in this game. I just can't do it. Darnell Mooney sitting on one catch for 12 yards. We're rooting for the unders there. It's actually a pretty damn good game state for that as well. Bijan 13 for 82 and 2 tutters in the first half. That is absurdly good. I mean, at this point, I don't know how many heavy boxes the Commanders have played, but at this point, we're going to have to get, like, they're going to have to just stack it and force Penix to beat them at this point.
It's what they should be doing. I mean, they should be probably selling out on the run to a degree. I mean, Penix can't seem to hit a guy in stride.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it. Clive, safe travels, my man. Hopefully
you.
You get back safely without a canceled flight, or else you're just stuck in El Paso for another day.
It's fine. There's worse things.
What's there to do in El Paso?
So in San Antonio, near the Alamo, they have this river walk, just like a pretty big. there's like a social scene here, but then they have like, I guess like a good stage of restaurants that we went to the first couple nights that I was here that are maybe like 10 minutes outside of what I guess they call the city. Um, it's a really nice area. Weather's been gorgeous too. Other than yesterday, thanks, Marks. Other than yesterday morning, just a little bit of rain. Tomorrow's supposed to be another like 80-degree day. Makes it hard to go back to 30-degree Jersey.
I know. I'd like to be in warmer weather. I'll tell you that. All right, Clive. Good to see you. Playoffs.
Right. See you.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do next Sunday? There will be a Sunday night football game. It's going to be Lions Vikings. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we did playoff previews of the games and the matchups that we knew, and we just took it from there.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
talk to you next week.
Peace out, everyone.
Hopefully we get some winners this week. All right.
See you all.
Clive Bixby, everyone. Second half coming up. This is usually when we would go triple P, right? Punt, parlay.
We can fire it, but I mean, with the way that the Falcons are firing, I don't know if we can do that.
Is there a chance of there? Obviously, there's a chance. What are the odds? Let's at least take a look at the odds on a punt, because it's all relative to price, right?
Yes. Punt. Oh my God, the Commanders are plus 170. Holy smokes.
It's not enough.
What about an AOAO?
An AOAO.
AOAO.
Yep.
What was that? I missed that.
IEAI. Yeah,
Oh,
you never heard that? IEAI. It's a real song.
It's not EIEIO.
No, it's IEAI.
No, it's HOTTOGO. That's I don't know.
It's a great song. You should really check it out. It's on Steal This Album. Steal This Album was a bunch of I'm giving useless information here. Bunch of B-sides that they just put on an album. It was like a slap in the face to everyone who was streaming illegal music at the time. They're like, steal this album, Steal this album. They put it out. IEAIAIO.
I don't even know who that is. Is AEI?
That's a song name. System of a Down is the band.
Oh, System of a Down. Okay, my
Yeah.
bad. I was confused who you were talking. Whomst you'd be talking about there.
Caught you doing some Leafs research there as well.
No. I was just whenever I search something on Twitter, I go back to the homepage. It was from the Dan Campbell thing, so I had it left over there from before.
Doing a quick search right now because my injury bot is telling me that Tyler Biadasz is hurt, who would be the center for Washington. I did not see that in real time. Makes a lot more sense now because they played one game a few weeks back without Biadasz, and they looked like poo-poo on offense. They looked like poo. And he's pretty important for them. Questionable to return with an ankle injury right now, but he didn't play the last series for the Commanders. So that's something to keep an eye on. I'm trying to think of what game it was where he was out.
I can find it for you if you give me 2 seconds and filibuster here.
Might have been the game at the Saints. Might have been home to the Cowboys. Was one of those two.
For the revenge game? You missed the revenge game?
No, I think it was the Saints. I think it was the Saints game that they almost lost, like 20-19.
Season stats. Week 14 and week 15. Week 15 is when he missed.
So that's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So who did they play week 15?
That would have been, it's week 17 now. Last week they played the Eagles. Yeah, it was the Saints. 20-19 win, the 2-point conversion.
So maybe we do go punt. Maybe the punt is mispriced right now with Biadasz not in.
Maybe it is.
It's 170 right now. Plus,
Yep. And maybe Washington really sells out to stop the run. Punt. Let's go punt.
I like.
All right,
We can talk.
We gotta be quick. We gotta be quick. Who's going to catch a pass? Who's got? It's more likely to be someone on. Oh man, this half's about to start. I'm feeling the pressure.
What about punt, and Falcons to win the second half?
Oh, can't combine it.
Second half spread. No.
What about punt? Washington's more likely to have a pass catcher because they're trailing. Do we just go Zacchaeus because he's been catching a million balls anyways? What's the prices on the players? Oh, we're gonna have to get this quick. We're gonna run out of time.
I'm not gonna be able to get this.
I'm feeling a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah, you have to go. You have to go. Not a Commanders player. You have to go a Falcons player.
Yeah, and then the punt's gonna update in real time. If we're gonna go a Falcons player, maybe a back, maybe Bijan.
There it is. Oh fuck! You should just play the punt straight at plus 170.
Oh, we cucked ourselves.
It's down to minus 110. Fuck!
It's an incompletion on the first pass too. We cucked ourselves hard.
We had a great build. Abort.
Offensive holding too. It's gonna be 1st and 20. What were we doing, man? What were we doing? Mac Nova says we can still put it in. We're just losing value with every single.
That's just yeah.
The
minus one.
You got FOMO now though, no?
Yeah, I'll find something live. I have bad news though.
Well, I also have bad news for you.
Oh,
AD's blaming you.
What the heck? Why is it my fault? I was the one who said the punt is. This is...
If you hadn't asked me to talk about System of a Down, Steal This Album for a couple minutes, if you hadn't brought up it was on you. You started just doing random gibberish of letters. My brain went there. If you hadn't started just spitting out random letters, this never would have happened.
Okay. All right, I'll take the fall. Man, I have bad news too, though. There's no.
I have bad news for. Jaden Daniels just escaped a sack, and then he sacked himself. He sacked himself.
Like hit himself in the balls, or
no? It's like he got out of the sack, and then he just like fell. Yeah, afterwards. Oh man.
Oh.
I'll get back to the game in 1 second. I can't help myself, though. I have a little bit of ADD when I see stuff like this. Top 3 System of a Down songs. This is really hard. It's incredibly difficult.
Was that who I think it was who got that?
And they just got another sack. Back to back. Where's the flag though? Got a flag. This is tough, man. They're just getting destroyed. Oh my God, this is going to be a defensive penalty. Prior to the pass, he just said. Oh, Kerms, you're right. Deer Dance is a no-brainer. The Deer Dance. Deer Dance, best song off Toxicity, I think. Vicinity of Obscenity. Low-key banger.
Yeah, never heard of any of these songs. Ever.
I'm very partial to Sweet Pea as well. Very partial to that.
Sweet Pea.
We got better punt odds now. I mean, we're back to a reset. We basically just did a reset.
Right.
You know what? Let me build this out right now. I'm just losing value with each passing play.
No, the Commanders punt is minus 125 for me. Oh, I guess I might have spoiled something.
No, you didn't spoil anything. Don't worry. You didn't spoil anything.
Was that Crowder? You bugger.
Aaron Jones diagnosed with quad contusion.
How are you going to play this stuff live next week? Are you going to look into player prop markets beforehand and
It's not my expertise. Hitman is really good at that stuff. This is the situation. For me, it'll be basically live spreads. So depending on the outcomes of the early games, you just got to be quick is the problem. It was getting hard last year. But what are you going to do? what you gonna do? I think live unders on some players will make sense though in games.
Yeah,
because that's gonna be a hard one to price.
It's almost like you got to watch Bijan and hope he what you guys were talking about before.
Yeah. There's another flag here. There's another flag. By the way, how do you get an illegal contact penalty? What was that on 3rd and 24? How stupid do you have to be to take an illegal contact penalty on 3rd and 24? It doesn't matter because Washington just keeps backing themselves up with penalties anyways. But Michael Kaiser asks, are the Falcons good and a dangerous playoff team? I would say I definitely think the Bucs are more dangerous than the Falcons if they get in. I will also say I don't know where the Falcons D has come from, but since their bye week, it's been a completely different defense. Completely different. So, lots. Oh, they're getting pressure on every drop back. Oh, that's a big play. Huge play. Huge play. Very big.
All right.
That was a big play.
What are we? You want to play anything live for this drive? I guess not. Good thing.
Yeah, we're going to play a quick game of like that stream. That's what we're going to do. We're going to play a quick game of only about a third of you have liked the stream.
This drive has been insane, by the way. Just
this is crazy.
Really absurd. Like every time I look up and there's
swings on the odds have been nuts. I have it open in front of me. I'm like, wow, just following the crazy drive.
Oh, McNichols was in the game there.
He still is right now. They're the Falcons are getting home with 4, and that's going to be a real problem at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another Jaden Daniels pick in this game.
McNicky 10-1.
Anytime.
It's hard though. It's hard with Jaden Daniels at quarterback.
It's also hard because you called him McNicky, and now I don't even want to play it anymore.
That's not nice.
I thought
that was a good nickname.
Now. You like 10-1. You like 11-1.
I like 11-1.
McNicky.
What's wrong with that? That was a good one. I thought that was a good one at least. I wonder what the snaps are looking like for these receivers. Got to head over to Blue Sky. Give me a sec.
Is this Falcons team in the playoffs already if they switched to Penix 3 weeks earlier? Well, what was the game where Kirk, it was the Chargers game, right? Chargers had 170 yards of offense.
And he had 4 picks. Yeah.
So you basically just needed someone to not be a complete fuck up in that game. And that's what Kirk was.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's up?
Did you rip some NBA props tonight or what?
I didn't really have time today. I was out and about, a little busy today.
Soft, very soft.
I had a couple though. I had honestly did very well on the ones I did hit. I think I won every single one, which is just a really good feeling when you don't get a lot down and you just every single bet wins. It's insane.
It was a decent day for them so far.
Oh fuck. Well, there we go.
Anyways.
There we go. I think the only one I got was some second half stuff, which all won, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Some Grady Dick under 3 points.
Yeah.
Or under threes. Sorry.
You got some under Dick?
I got some under. I got under Dick last night. Or sorry, this morning.
I had some Dick too. I had some good Dick and some bad Dick.
Some bad Dick. Bad Dick's always the worst.
Dick under 15.5 points.
Dick over 15.5 points. Oh, that hit.
No, you got 6 points.
Oh, you know what I did have was Ben Simmons under 6.5 points. Or sorry, over 6.5 points. He only had 6, that guy.
Someone needs to investigate whether or not Terry McLaurin's family has been kidnapped. Because this guy cannot catch a ball tonight. I don't know what's happening here, but McLaurin's hands. Well, I mean, my bad. I will retract. Should have been a better throw. Should have been a better. I will retract. In real time, it looked like he got both hands on it. He actually didn't. He only got one hand on it.
Should we look towards some like Zacchaeus live? Because there's a very clear delineation between Zacchaeus and Crowder. Obviously can't do that now, but
Crowder just caught a ball.
Oh, did he actually? Yes.
Yeah, he's over. Crowder hit the over.
3.5 receptions.
Crowder hit the over on yards. Yards? I think we need one more reception. No.
Yeah, I got him at 2.5. I think
3 for 25. You're good. You're good at 2.5.
Hey, woo!
It's Crowder. Crowder.
Who do I contact, by the way, to refund me for the Jane Daniels interception? By the way, is that you gonna PayPal me back or Venmo me back? No.
Here's the beauty of betting, Jason. You get to click the submit button on any bet that you make.
I do.
That's the beauty of it.
I definitely do.
They're going for it. That won't spoil. But I can guarantee the punt is not hitting. Actually, no, I can't. I can't guarantee the punt is not hitting. With the amount of penalties the Washington offense takes, they can move themselves into punt range.
Oh, is there a hold there? Nope, nothing. No. That is a horrible live loss, though. That feels like that's up there with Rachaad White.
No, it's not. It's not. No, come on. It is stupid.
It's pretty close, honestly.
Well, like 3rd and 24 illegal contact is the type of penalty that makes you want to put your head through a wall. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I put this sign up right here.
NFL is a priv.
That's it, man. My guy, Eager.
NFL is a priv.
Used to tell me all the time.
What's above your head there? Are those the Donkey Kong bongos for
those are bongo drums right there, yeah. I'm terrible at this. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. There.
Is that from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, or are those real bongos?
Those are real bongos.
Oh.
I can play the bongos.
Yeah, you just hit it. What do you mean you can play the bongos?
You don't just hit
anyone can play the bongos.
That's not true.
In the chat if anyone can play the bongos.
Well,
oh man. I need a legacy game for the F word for Bijan Robinson.
No. A bunch of people tweeting at me today, like they're like, these types of days makes me like never want to watch football again. I'm like, why? What's going on? Like bad day or whatever? Like I lost my fantasy matchup. Like if this never makes you want to watch football again.
Honestly,
like, the stakes are too high at this point. I'm sorry.
Everyone should tweet at Robin, let them know how they did in fantasy this year. Oh, Mike Durso has a no one even
I saw
what the Playboy thing behind my head. It's for a Russian spa that I go to.
That was a perfect throw, man. Perfect throw, perfect catch. I honestly can't believe the Commanders scored a touchdown on this drive. I 15 plays, 69 yards, took like almost 8 minutes. I'm floored that they actually scored a touchdown on this drive.
This is Underbetter's dream.
This changes things a lot, though. It really does, because the Falcons can't turtle it now. What are those books on your shelf, by the way, back there? What are those?
The Theory of Poker.
Okay.
Applications of No Limit Hold'em. The Dynasty is just by Jeff Benedict, which is a New England Patriots book about like their whatever dynasty. The Art of War.
Yep.
Which I'm in the process of reading.
Are you a poker player? I didn't know that.
No, but I like to read.
Because I got a couple poker books back there as well.
I just think my friend gave them to me. I played recreationally with them. I just wanted to learn.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to learn.
They're decor. They're decor.
Yeah. No, I read The Theory of Poker, and I've like not. I don't want to say I've skimmed the applications of No Limit. I flipped around on a couple pages. That's about it. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and The Art of War. Yeah. Everyone would smoke me in poker. I'm not going to pretend like I play poker. I was playing with friends, and I didn't want to like just limp in every time and not know what the fuck I'm doing. So I like got the Theory of Poker.
You couldn't take down GRP and Heads Up Pot Limit Omaha?
Definitely can't. I've never played Omaha in my life.
I still don't think that makes you a big underdog.
Okay, fair. Also, yeah, those are for show. There's books I've read but listened to in audio form, so it's like, once I listen to them fully, I
You didn't get a cool book for Christmas?
We can't talk about that. That's that can't be brought up. What did I get for Christmas? What did you get for Christmas, by the way? Do you and Diana share, like, give each other gifts or anything like that? Like,
no. Diana just spends my money on stuff.
Buys
whatever the hell she wants. I will say, I did treat myself as well. I bought a couple new guitars, which will be arriving in the next couple days. So I got that. I got a snowblower. I got a leaf blower to, I'm in a new place now, and I noticed there's like a lot of pine needles that come down from the trees. I just want to just like blow them off the patio. Got myself a new stove.
Nice.
These are the things that adults worry about.
My favorite. I got a Dutch oven for don't be weird about it.
An actual Dutch oven, not the one where you fart under the blanket. Not one of those.
No, that would require me being in bed with someone, which probably has never happened before. It's like a nice, very nice one. It's like a Staub. Is that what it's called? Staub. Staub. Staub.
Staub. I don't think we have to be real stupid about it.
Oh. I was being serious. Is that German, by the way?
I'd say most likely yes.
Cool.
That part of the world for sure. Yeah, that's it. No, we don't do gifts. Like we stopped buying each other gifts a long time ago. It doesn't, if you want something, just get it.
Yeah.
With my family, we do like not a Kris Kringle, but I don't
White
even know
elephant. Is that what it's called?
I don't know what it's called. Where you make like a wish list up to like, and we make it up to $50 or whatever. And
yeah. See, I'm honestly, can I be honest? I'm pissed about the one I did with my friends. I got like a Temu speaker, like from fucking Temu. My friend, like, in our limit was $50. I'm like, dude, what the fuck did you get me? Like,
no, you got to do this. I don't remember which site my wife set this up on, but we started this like 3 years ago. And at least you can put like a wish list.
I put a wish list.
Yeah, but you can put the specific product.
So I did that.
And
I got a Temu speaker. I opened
some new friends, my man.
I know. Trust me. I opened it up to like I had like so many different things. I even had like funny gifts in there. I had like a Kim Jong-un throw pillow, which I thought would be hilarious in my apartment.
Yeah. I mean, I could see the humor in it 10 years ago.
Oh. No, you're thinking of Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-un wasn't the leader 10 years ago.
I'm well aware. I'm aware. Okay, continue on. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Temu speaker for Christmas. It's a tough break, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
That's a tough one.
It's all good. Anyone do anything for Hanukkah tonight? So I want to know what everyone if
today's Hanukkah. You could have had it off, man. Why didn't you tell me that?
5th day.
Yeah, it's goes over the course. That's why Jeff's not around tonight. For the people that don't know,
he's just on vacation as well. No,
that is also true.
Oh, is he?
Oh man. No, listen. At Christmas, I buy a lot of shit around Christmas. I do every year, but I just buy stuff that I want. Also, I don't know if you guys are pet owners out there. Oh, fumble! Penix recovered. I don't know if you guys are pet owners out there. I get a lot of excitement from buying my dog new beds around Christmas time. Just get him like a new comfy bed. He lives the dream, man. That dog gets real excited.
Don't you have 2 dogs? No, you have one.
One dog.
You only have one pet? No, the second pet was the turtle that you killed.
Tortellini was the second pet. Yeah. Tortellini was the second pet. If I show you this fucking bed, I got this dog. I got to find this bed. Guy was living his best life, man. I don't know if I took a picture of it or not. I may not have. It's tough. Tough break. Well, Falcons seem dead set on blowing this game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Which playoff matchup right now are you looking forward to the most? Like hypothetical. Doesn't have to be like a for sure.
Hypo. Probably whoever the Chargers play. Chargers Ravens or Chargers Bills.
Okay.
I think that'll be a banger. Yeah, Lions Bucks would be really, really fun. I think that would be fun.
That would honestly be sweet. Yeah. I can't even believe that's how are the Detroit Lions going to fare if they don't have home field throughout the playoffs? Because they could get screwed with some outdoor games, maybe. No,
they could, but I think that's kind of like overblown. They've played some outdoor games and boat raced other teams as well.
That's true. Jared Goff is, I don't know.
Nice of Jeff to show up here in the chat. He's right. They can't play the Bills. I'm just doing it right now. It's Chargers Ravens or Chargers Texans. Can't happen the other way. Broncos can only get that last one. Or Dolphins or Bengals. I'm just going to wait to see a play up.
I think I'm going to principally bet the Chargers in every single game just for content purposes so we can get the Chargers in the Super Bowl for Jeff. If we get the Chargers in the Super Bowl for Jeff, we need to have like a live cam on him 24/7 throughout the game. Not 24/7,
I agree.
But
I agree. Someone said gifting someone a pet is a top one worst gift ever. 100%. Who would gift anyone a pet? Does that even happen?
I think you give it to your child. I think that's the only time you'd ever gift someone.
Yeah, that's different because you're assuming the responsibility anyways.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to just show up at my parents' house now and be like, so surprise, I got you a dog for Christmas. Like, who does that? Insane people.
Levi got a hamster in middle school.
Yeah, but exactly. Like, you know, your parents assume the responsibility. Yeah, if you're getting to a kid, kids get excited about pets, you know? There's a pet, they like it for a week, and then they move on with life, and you got to, as the parent, you just got to
take care of them.
Assume the responsibility. Thomas says, how many guitars does one guy need, though, Rob? Plenty. So I bought a 7-string this time. I don't own a 7-string, which is...
7?
Yeah, it's kind of important to me because a lot of bands I listen to play 7-stringer. So
there's an extra G string on there.
Trivium. No, it'd be an extra B. The top string would be a B. E, B, G, D, A, E, B. It's going to be your top string. I like to keep them in different tunings as well, so I don't have to constantly retune because I listen to a wide variety of music. Some bands play in open tunings. It's just like a pain in the ass.
Do you have a 12-stringer?
I had a 12-string acoustic many years ago, but I sold it. I don't have it anymore.
Those are sick. They sound
they're okay. Nice. They sound very full. It's very full sounding. They're just a bitch to change the strings.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Zach Smith and I are on the same page.
I don't have a 12-string. I don't have a. I don't know where else was somebody else got it. I don't have a double neck. No.
Where I missed this. Was there a duck that ran on a field today?
Yeah. Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I missed that one.
It was a duck. He was on the field. They scored a touchdown. They scored a touchdown on that play.
Huh.
I don't know why I said touchdown.
Touch.
They scored a touchdown.
Duck down. Touch. Duck down. Oh, Levi's saying, "Hey, Levi said it, not me."
McNicky, you've coined it now. It's tough.
That's a good. I think that's a good nickname. What's wrong? What would you give Jeremy McNichols' nickname? Like J-Dog? 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 Germaphobe?
I don't know.
You ever cooled down from your 125-degree high last night? I don't get that.
Fuck, I smoked a lot of weed yesterday, dude.
Honestly, me too. Like way too much.
Oh,
I
couldn't move for like a good 3 hours, man. It really hit me like at the start of Cardinals Rams. It really hit me at the start of Cardinals.
Oh
Rams.
Man. That's fun.
Yeah. Man, JD just breaking tackles. It's too easy for him right now. Yeah, no, I like to indulge.
Chris Rodriguez in there as well.
C-Rod.
Crod.
Now that is more
Crod J.
interesting. He was in there though, but he wasn't in there, you know?
I know, but they like to run 2 running backs out the
Oh
backfield,
my
like
God. How did we
short.
not? Sammy.
Nickelback.
Wow.
Holy smokes. Honestly, I'm going to bet on it just now.
Honestly, Sammy, drop your favorite charity into the chat and I'll make a donation tonight. That's for you. Happy holidays. I don't do it often. I usually only donate to charities that are important to me. But Sammy, I'll donate to what important to you.
I'll donate to the Human Fund as well because it's important to me.
Wow. We should start the Human Fund, no?
Do what with the money?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, man.
Is it okay, first let me respond. We get this a lot. We need a Pizzola, Feinberg, and Cam Stewart lit cast. I wish. So people ask all the time, get Cam on the show, get Cam. I love Cam, but he works during these shows. He's on air himself. And honestly, I've worked with Cam for a very long time. It's really hard to get him to do anything outside of his standard schedule. So it's almost certainly never going to happen. It's almost certainly never going to happen. What are you going to do? Look at this plus. No, it's too much. Plus EV bet doesn't work. It's too many syllables. Look at this. I mean, you could just replace plus EV with like an adjective. That's not 3 syllables. You know? Look at this banger bet. You know, something like that.
Look at this touchdown score.
No,
Never
it's just going to be banger bet.
Look at this CLV. Mizzou got it.
Look at this CLV. Every time I do it makes me laugh. Oh, it does, man. There's nothing.
How is my account in the red?
Yeah, there's nothing better than oh, they're going. 4th and 5. 4th and 5. Oh, did he get it? He stretches out. Nickel back. First down.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think he was going to get that.
I'm about to watch the play right now.
What an effort by the Nickelback. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, he's got grit. He's got grit. He's got a bit of little shimmy shake grit.
Mm-hmm.
What are you? Do you have? Go ahead.
How petty would it be if I went back to the Favorites Podcast Twitter account at the beginning of the year and I retweeted the clip of Simon Hunter saying that he bet the Minnesota Vikings to be the last winless team?
Winless team. That's good. Not petty at all. Called you a pedophile. Sorry, I shouldn't say.
Yeah, it's true. He did call me a petty. So I get to be petty, I think, in that situation.
Yes.
But in a different way, you know?
Yes. I mean,
I don't get to be.
That was good wordplay, but like it didn't.
Let's
really
retract that statement. Let's retract all of that.
That was like George bringing in the shrimp wheel of shrimp.
We should all retweet it. Do you guys all want to retweet it?
Yes. I'll drop it in the chat, and we'll do it. We'll do it like we did last time. 1, 2, 3, lemon tree. And then we all retweet on lemon tree.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? What the hell? It's the holiday season. Let's have some fun. Oh man, Lord McD. This is actually. Now that we're on this, have you noticed that Simon now claims he has his own model that he references? There's no way that's real, right? I die of laughter when he says his model has something one way. I pray for the day that I can interview Simon Hunter and ask him about that model. It's never going to happen. But if it does, he is going to be hit with so many hard-hitting questions that he's not going to know what hit him. He won't do an interview with me, by the way. Also, Chad Milman declined my interview request. Sad, but This is it.
This is one of the teams I'm taking my larger positions on to be one of the worst teams in football. And it stinks because I do love their coaching so much, but Chad just nailed it. If you're not driving,
Can you hear
open
it?
your phone real quick and go and look at their
Just
schedule.
put a little louder.
Even if they somehow improve a little bit on defense, last
Even
year was
if.
so far above it, and it's just I just can't see it. They don't have the pieces to me. It's a team that's in a total
Don't have the
rebuild.
pieces.
Wouldn't be shocked if they do something like 4 wins. 6.5 wins is what the books are hanging at right now. So this is an under I've just been hitting heavy. Minnesota, I'm taking a giant dump on your chest right now. I'm so sorry about it. I'm just shitting on you guys, and I hate your team this year. The future is so bright if he does stay with this coaching staff, and they do keep putting the pieces around him. But man, is this season gonna suck? Like you guys, Chad just said it. You could easily be 0-9, and it's like you wouldn't be shocked. That's a juggernaut start to the season for either Sam Darnold or JJ. It's just brutal how the schedule makes it laid out. So I'm sorry, Minnesota, but they got to be one of my favorite unders this season, Chad.
Oh,
Well,
my God.
looks like someone had a dump taken on their chest, and it wasn't the Vikings. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. All right. I dropped the link in the chat. Don't retweet it just yet. Do not
let's
retweet.
wait.
Don't retweet just yet. We're going to wait until let's do 10:30.
What's the best way to do it? Do we all retweet? Some of us quote tweet? I mean, there's got to be something about a dump on a chest that can be put in the quote tweet, right?
Retweet, then post the reply. There's only 4 replies. So, like, if we fill the replies.
Oh, that guy follows me. Hardeman Ryan. He tweets at me all the time. Syndicate approved. Poker player.
Nice. He's a Canucks fan.
Yeah, it's tough. That's tough. All right. You know what? Everyone get that link up and open. No, it has to be quote tweeted. Let's get the views up on. Listen, at least we're doing Action Network a favor and getting them some views.
Oh, yeah.
The favorites.
It's gonna be the biggest tweet of the year if we can get it. I wish you could see what their biggest tweet is and like make this their biggest tweet.
It's actually incredible. It's actually incredible. He apologizes to Vikings fans so many times in that video. Like,
I want him to tell me that the Leafs aren't going to win the cup.
There's one team I don't even bet NHL, but I talk to the guys in Vegas, and they keep talking about how there's this one team that they just can't they can't win. They just can't win. Oh man!
All right, how should we do this? You tell me. Everyone, I guess get your quote tweets ready. Then at 10:30, we'll fire it up. Gives us 3 minutes. Gives us a little bit of time.
Yeah.
We go with that?
I mean, it doesn't really matter if we all do it at the same time.
I think it does because then like brings more attention to it.
Okay, we're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it at exactly 10:30.
Yes.
As soon as the clock hits 10:30, we're all gonna click it.
If I forget, we should honestly. Now that I think about it, maybe we space it out because then, like, if we have like a overlap in following, then that means that like.
Oh man,
as much as possible. Anyways,
tag some popular Vikings fan base account. That's the way to do it, right?
Old Takes Exposed.
Oh, well, yeah, Old Takes Exposed though. Like, it's still big. But definitely, they could go 0-9. Wow, just truly incredible. I mean, I guess any team could go 0-9. You could say that about anyone. Yeah. They could go. Tag Molitor, Moretto. Hitman's a Vikings fan. I don't know what the best course of action is here, honestly. Well, listen, we've put it out in the universe now. I think it's now time for people to go wild. You do what you want to do, Nails. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's the holiday season. You could tag a Vikings account. You could retweet it. You can comment on it. You can quote tweet it. Do whatever the hell you want to do. Just make sure that the worst take of all time is brought back to life.
It's honestly pretty impressive that, like, with the amount of dumb shit I've said on this stream, that is the worst take we've seen this year.
Yeah. Listen, I have all sorts of bets. I've had so much stuff tagged by Old Takes Exposed before. I don't even care at this point.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you're not willing to plant your flag and be wrong about something, you're a coward. Like, that's what I believe. Like, at least be willing to do it.
If you're going to put the takes out there, you're going to get roasted if they're bad.
100%.
Just like you're going to victory lap them when they're good.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, right?
I have all my friends' takes saved in my phone, so if they ever come at me, I can go back at them.
Well, that's a little bit sick. It's like sick behavior, but it's a GRP type of thing to do. Can I ask him for a refund even though I didn't bet it? Of course.
Yeah, of course. Send your Venmo. Drop your Venmo in there.
All right. It's 10:29. We got one more minute.
I'll count it down. We have 10 seconds. For me, I'm going to be retweeting in 3, 2, 1. I just replied.
There we go.
I just retweeted and I popped a like on it. It was at 14 retweets and 22 likes. Also, like it as well. It boosts it in the algorithm. It'll get on more people's For You page if you do that. Not that people use.
Still, we're just giving them engagement, but it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, but like, is this the engagement that they want? That their biggest show is basically a fraud? Like,
no, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
It also opens them up to be made fun of. Like maybe Pat McAfee picks it up and makes fun of them. Who knows? Wait, what do you mean? Whose tweet did I steal?
Seems like that's something that you would have done.
What? I get accused of stealing so much stuff without like.
You do look like a thief, though.
I dressed as a thief for Halloween one time.
See, there you go. You also look like an asshole, but that's a different story. Story for another day. Fourth quarter is here. Washington in the red zone. Austin Bach comes in on forward progress. Austin
came into a little feisty third quarter there. We get a little retweet action. I never know what I'm gonna. It's either Jeff going off on something, or I never know what I'm walking into when I get into the waiting room here. But
it's tough. It could be anything on any given night.
I mean, Jeff is all over the place. So like, you truly never know what forward progress is going to bring you on Sunday Night Football.
Have you ever had a take so bad that you got tagged in old takes exposed?
I don't know if old takes exposed. I got roasted by the Bengals fan base. Like I said that they beat the Chiefs. I said it was a false win, which was like, honestly, social media kind of set me up because I said like it was more of like a coin flip game. I didn't see it as like a dominating win against the Chiefs, and then they beat the Chiefs again in the playoffs. So I had like 2 waves of, I think like the entire city of Cincinnati hates me. But that takes kind of worked out because the Bengals haven't done too much since then. So
yeah, I'm just.
You got to have bad takes though. You have to.
Yeah, I believe I had some before that were tagged. I'm just trying to. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I can't find a truly terrible one. I'm sure they exist out there. Washington's in the end zone, and you know who it is? Jason. It's C-Rod. C-Rod's in the end zone.
Not Nickelback?
No, not Nickelback. C-Rod. Wow. We fucked up so hard. We were so petty that we were
it was
all
31
focused on Simon Hunter that we didn't even bet C-Rod.
It was 31-1.
This is legitimately one of the biggest mistakes that was ever made on this program. Wow. If that's not karma right there, I honestly don't know what is. We spent at least 5 minutes talking about that shitty Vikings take instead of C-Rod 31-1.
And it happened within 2 minutes.
Truly unbelievable that happened. I mean, that take, though, is so bad. I could watch it 100 times over.
Yeah, so what's funny about it, so I've never seen that take before, is like, I don't really, like their question really was just their quarterback. I mean, nobody expected them to be like 14-2, but I didn't think they were like he was like trashing the roster. Like, I didn't really think it was. Like,
no, I know.
If they got good quarterback play, you were like, yeah, this could be a playoff team. Like, it's not that crazy, but obviously that was a big question mark. But yeah, he was talking like this team was like the Patriots or like Giants even. Like, yeah, this team's terrible. I don't know. I don't get that.
Hindsight's 2020 for sure. And I think of everyone that I know, TA was probably the highest on the Vikings going into the year. I think he had them as a double-digit win team. There was a lot of people that I think were high on Darnold. like this is the opportunity for him. The defense was bad last year. We did see that. Personnel wise, I'm trying to think of any big offseason moves. There wasn't a ton. Stephon Gilmore.
They traded Grenard.
Oh yes, they traded for Grenard. Yes,
for him and traded Hunter. And then got Van Ginkel. But
Van Ginkel's been huge for them this year as well.
Yeah.
Blake Cashman's a great linebacker. There's some upside on defense.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were going to be the worst defense. Like I think if you said they were the worst defense in the league before the year, or like bottom even like 3, I feel like that'd be a little like hot take. But
and Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, Aaron
I know
Jones. Hawkinson was out for the first month of the year, but and I guess that did play into the bet as well. But
like he also said, like he said the 0-9 thing, like their schedule was brutal to start. Like they opened up with the Giants. I don't know what we expected out of the Giants.
That game was like almost a pick 'em, I think, in week 1. It was really close to a pick 'em.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like, okay, this is not winnable. And like they had the Colts in there, the Jags in there. Like I don't know.
I do see it going into the year. Like if you lose to the Giants, I do see 49ers, Texans, Packers, Jets, Lions, Rams. Like these were teams that, so I get it from looking at the schedule, but 49ers turned out not to be very good. Texans turned out to be pretty overrated. Jets turned out to be, 4-win team. Like that's one of the problems, is just the assumption that all of these other teams along the way are all going to play at the level of their preseason expectation. So it's a tough one.
It's a tough day. We all have them. That one's pretty rough. I think I said a couple weeks ago, I asked you, what do you do with Darnold? I think we were kind of like, you probably have to let him go and get the $30 million. Like, I don't know. It's a couple weeks ago. Are you you still lean that way, or are you?
I do.
Changing your
Darnold's played well. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to slander the guy. He's had a really good year, but he's in he has like every opportunity to be good.
It reminds
me he takes a lot of sacks.
And he has the bad interceptions. Like they still happen. So yeah, I'm still in that boat. It's probably like the bad take now. I know like there's been reports that they're going to try to, he's going to get paid. Like he's going to get that Geno Smith Baker contract. I just I think it's kind of similar to the 49ers in that like you have to believe that you can get a pretty decent return on a quarterback with KOC and all these weapons. So, and then you can boost up the rest of the roster with the savings you're having by paying JJ McCarthy $8 million instead of Sam Darnold and JJ McCarthy. So yeah. And like the trade market on McCarthy, like people say like, oh, you just trade McCarthy. I'm like, well, it's nothing because you're stuck. Like it's kind of what the Falcons have. Like, we're only 2 games in the Penix, but like they can't, like Kirk's done now. So it's like whoever's not playing has like no value basically, or really low value. So
Ray McLeod just dragged the defender like 10 yards. I don't know how. Ray McLeod is a small dude. Thomas says I trade JJ, to be honest. So it's if you trade JJ, you can recoup something for him for sure. But then you're paying Darnold the contract. And that's, no one's disputing that Darnold is fine. Everything is relative though, right? And like, look at this draft class. Mays played well. Daniels has played well. Bo Nix has played well. Jury's still out on Penix here. Really, Caleb has been the guy that hasn't looked good out of the draft class. So, I mean,
Nix has played well. We're going to give Bo Nix the credit for his defense? Okay, it's fine. Okay.
Well, it's not just his defense.
I'll slightly disagree with the Bo Nix one.
Yeah.
I think he's
well above expectation.
Yeah, the expectation for rookies. But again, it's like the CJ Stroud thing. Like and Bryce Young. Like look how different things can be in 1 year. Like I don't want to say nothing matters, but like so much can change. But continue with your
so that increases the likelihood, in my opinion, that it was a good quarterback draft class as well. Or good year for quarterbacks. I don't know. You do run a risk of McCarthy being bad. I think at that point you bring in a veteran backup, someone like an Andy Dalton type of situation. I'm not sure if Dalton's a free agent. I'm just using his name as like a veteran guy that you can turn to. And I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for that offense with KOC there, with those weapons there, and the amount of talent that they can bring in to bolster other spots on the team, specifically O-line, I would say, for them going into next year. I don't know. I just don't know that you can sign Darnold.
Yeah, my thought is it's such an advantage to save that like $22 million. And honestly, you could make the argument that he could get more than Geno and Baker because like, not that like QB wins matter, but like the season feels better than any season that Baker and them and Geno like put on tape. So I wonder like if he kind of gets like maybe like 2-3 million more than them or something. But yeah, like my thing is like you have $22 million to put your faith in KOC, put your faith in those weapons, $22 million to fill out the rest of the roster. And, you know, keep this. Now your window is really open. Like, Justin Jefferson probably, like, I don't know. Are there two other receivers in the league you're taking over him? Probably not.
I think Justin Jefferson would be my number one pick at receiver.
Say he's mine as well. But, like, I could see, like, some people make the argument for Chase. I don't really know if there's anybody else. Like, maybe CeeDee Lamb. Like,
no.
But, like, I just because CeeDee Lamb's put up numbers with a bad quarterback this year, like, maybe I could see it. I'm not doing it. But like Jordan Addison is playing his way into like an elite number 2. Like, I don't know if he could be his own number 1, but like when you have Justin Jefferson opposite, Addison's been incredible. Yeah. So like just put your money on McCarthy being able to figure it out. And if it doesn't work out, like you said, you can find another Darnold. Like Darnold was bad, like really bad.
He was. Like
his Jets days were bad. So there's all these reclamation projects that you can maybe roll the dice again, but yeah,
Neighbors isn't there yet, in my opinion. So like to me, I would say Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I would put Puka Nacua top 5 right now. I'd put Nico Collins top 5, and I probably would round that out with AJ Brown. Would be like
St. Brown.
No, not Amon-Ra. No,
Amon-Ra's good. He doesn't have the ceiling though. I think
no love for USC guys. Okay,
no, not in my top 5. I'm not disrespecting. He's a great receiver, but like, he has, like JSN is like the new Amon-Ra, right? Like a very similar type of player, which they're very much, really, really good players, game breakers. I'm not quite sure that they're in the level of the class above them.
So I just pulled up. I just read an article. It's a quick scan. I think that the Vikings can franchise tag him for $40 million. Sam Darnold. Is that like the low risk course of action that you take with him, where you get him for one more year, and it's helps you bridge the gap for McCarthy, who's coming off an injury, or do you just say, fuck it, we'll find a guy in free agency?
There's no way it's $40 million, right? Isn't the top 5 average?
Yeah,
or is it what the actual cap hit? Is it what the actual cap?
Oh, it could be the cap hit instead of the.
Sorry, but I don't. The cap stuff. I have no idea how it works.
Okay, but the Vikings only have $7 million in cap space, right? So, like, in order to do that, they are now cutting players from their active roster. So they are going to go into next year with a worse roster than they this year. So that has to be taken into account.
I'm not saying like buy low, sell high, but like, is this the peak of Sam Darnold? Like, can you play better? Like, can they like what can you squeeze anything else out? And your plan was like, I don't think they planned really to have McCarthy like come in and start right away. Like, look at like Drake May didn't start either. And I think it was like, okay, Darnold can get us through, but like you still took JJ McCarthy knowing that Sam Darnold was going to be on your roster. So like you obviously saw McCarthy as like the higher ceiling guy. So if you can get, Darnold's played as like a top 10-ish quarterback this year, can you get McCarthy into that like 5 to 7 range? and now you have $22 million to build the roster instead of tearing it down. So I think that's where I would see. I am still on the trade. Darnold, sell high. Basically,
it's a tough spot to be in for sure.
Yeah, it's not great. Like it'll make or break your GM, like tenure basically. So it's like the people who say the Giants should not draft a quarterback because the quarterback class is weak. Like if you're a GM, can you afford it? Because if the quarterback ends up good that you passed on, like that's the black cloud hanging over. It's these other things that you have to factor in that like it gets really difficult to make the decisions.
Sammy is coming in hot tonight. He has, from what you guys are saying, maybe betting Vikings last team to win may have value next year.
What's that? What divisions they got? 0-9 start next year. What's that? I saw the Martingale in the in the chat as well.
Andy says the Vikings should just turn Daniel Jones into Sam Darnold and keep it moving. Honestly, it's not that unrealistic.
No, it's not. Like that is what. Like, look at Jimmy G. Like, he was terrible for the Raiders, but like he was putting up good numbers for the Niners. Like, it's these guys that are in like the Niners had the same thing, right? You had good personnel, good coaching, good scheme, and all of a sudden things work out for him. So I like that's kind of a joke because Daniel Jones is like that in that tier right now.
Yeah, like
I think Daniel Jones is a pretty solid backup to have. In terms of, I think a lot of teams could probably use Daniel Jones as their backup. Like,
yep,
because he can hold it together. Not, you don't want him there for 8-9 games, but like 3-4, he could hold it, go 2-2 maybe if you have a good roster. But
so Sam Darnold's UFA next year. I'm just going through the list, okay? In random order: Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Jarrett Stidham, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz, Jimmy Garoppolo, Case Keenum, Mason Rudolph, Easton Stick, Cooper Rush, Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen. I mean, I'm going through the list here, and there's just they're probably just better off going with riding JJ and signing a veteran backup. Honestly,
yeah. Do the same thing you just did. I'm not saying you're going to like lightning doesn't strike twice, but just repeat that process. And obviously next year you're hoping that McCarthy with the full offseason gets healthy, can step in and be the starter week 1. But like, that's your whole goal is like that instead of like, I think the point that you bring up, and it's like mine, like when you combine R2 where you can add $22 million of talent in theory, versus yours where it's like you have to maybe cut people to fit a $35 million contract on the books. Like it's a totally different team. So
Cornelius Lucas is injured for Washington as well. The injury bot just hit that up. So I don't know where would he have been playing right tackle for Andrew Wiley? I haven't really been paying attention all that much. Either way, he's left the game. That's another offensive line injury for the Commanders. Bjanish left as well. So of note going forwards. John Weedman says, just listening to KOC last month, Vikes going to move on from Darnold. I think so.
I think the Vikings are, I know people were like all over them in the draft because they, I know people are complaining that they drafted McCarthy at 10, but like with Penix going 8, like the quarterback, there were only 2 left and they needed one. But then they trade up for someone else, or they traded up to get the 23, right? Am I misremembering that?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think you are misremembering that.
Happened, I think. Because people are saying they were going to trade back. I can't remember who they got, but I don't know why it slipped my mind. But I think they know what they're doing from an organization standpoint. Like they've built a pretty, like this roster was not in great shape like 2-3 years ago, and they've done a pretty decent job.
They traded they traded from 23 to 17 for Dallas Turner.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so like maybe they're just more aggressive. I was on the theory that like so many offensive players went early that maybe you were getting because there was like an elite offensive player class, which I think has kind of turned out true.
Yeah.
That I think the defensive players were actually kind of undervalued. Maybe there was a little bit of that, but I don't know. I can't see them paying $35-40 million to Sam Darnold when they have a rookie quarterback on the books.
Commander second and goal here at the goal line. Timeout Washington prior to the pass. If Robinson scores, Portnoy wins $369K. I did see that parlay today. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care one way or another whether or not it wins. It does pain me to see, and I get who the sponsor is, by the way, and the amount of money that they're taking from the said sponsor. Guy would have won literally like another 100K. It doesn't matter whether for him, it doesn't matter. Let's be perfectly clear. It doesn't make a difference at this point.
See.
Yeah, it just hurts me inside to see stuff like that.
Good reason why you should download FanDuel if you haven't already.
So I agree. On the touchdown stuff, especially, like you got to be insane. You have to be insane to be playing that there.
It's a good move. Plus EV move.
Yeah, I mean, just
Fire minus EV shit.
Yeah. Meeting up with the bookie this week, and he's like, what the hell's going on here? That guy just tailed Portnoy. It's going to be third and short. They got to stop there. Okay, Seattle spread or money line still good with Washington winning. So Washington winning is going to eliminate Seattle, correct?
Yes. And there's also like, so like Seattle needs like, they need 9 teams to win next week, even if Washington doesn't win.
Yeah.
And they need to win themselves. So like, I've seen some, like, I don't want to say it's misinformation, but like, I don't think people are like, oh, if Atlanta wins, that game is for the division next week. Like, no, still so many things. Like, don't like, I don't even know if the markets are up for like Seattle to make the playoffs. Just be cautious. Like,
yeah,
it's not like, oh, hey, they're plus 20, they're 25-1, and all they have to do is win. That's not true. Like a lot of things still have to go right.
Sakia's second touchdown got called back here on a hold by Sam Cosmi, which actually sucks quite a bit for TA. I know he played 2+ touchdowns on Zacchaeus at 40-1. Oof. That is a big oof.
Why does it feel like everyone on the Falcons got like lobotomized in the first, like between like at halftime?
Good defensive adjustments. Commander is really committed to stopping the run and making Penix beat them.
Yeah.
You know? One of those.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think there was some we kind of jumped the gun on Penix after I saw some very pro Penix talk after one game against the lowly Giants, which I have the under in this game, so I would love a non-touchdown here.
So my opinion on Rams Seattle next week. If the Rams end up clinching because Washington wins this game, I think it makes Seattle look even more appealing at the current spread because the Rams are coached by Sean McVay, and I can tell you nobody that matters is playing that game for McVay.
No one.
It's not.
First off, every time Stafford had that scramble last night, like I just could see, like I can see in my head, like Sean McVay was just like, yo, get down, like get down, like softly, don't slide awkwardly or anything. Like I need you to, like, he is the most cautious coach in terms of injuries, and Stafford's older. So there's no way. And Puka's been beat up this year. So is Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
He's just, I just don't see it, man.
I'm with you.
Cuck of the century, Sean McVay. Yeah. It'll be a McVay preseason game. I agree, John. It will be. The only problem is you got to sweat Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the real problem. You got to sweat Jimmy G dicing up the Seahawks. But
did they do this last year? Right? Didn't they beat the Niners, or did they cover against
We talked about this. They did beat the Niners. Darnold, it was Carson Wentz beat Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it was backups.
Yeah. So that'll happen. I still think there's a decent chance Seattle will play starters, if not all of them.
Yeah, I think
even
so.
if they're eliminated.
I feel like I don't know. Some guys will sit like if you're pretty banged up, but I don't think teams that
They have
a game.
one
They don't have a
banged-up
game.
quarter.
Yeah, but like they don't have a game next week. Like so,
Right.
it's not. You're not. There's nothing to play for. Guys still have to get contracts and whatnot.
Out of all the playoff teams in round one, would you want to play versus the Rams, or do you think they are scary?
I
Well,
need
the
to, who's the option to play against?
The other option is Falcons or Bucks.
Yeah. I obviously want to play them rather than the Rams.
I didn't know you had a dog, by the way, till now.
I have two, and they're going absolutely bananas down
I
here.
can hear him. I can hear him.
There's a storm outside. Yeah. There's a storm outside. They're going nuts right now. I don't know what happened.
That's tough, man. The storm's for the dogs. I'm lucky my dog now doesn't give a shit. That was one beauty of growing up in a condo in downtown Toronto for him. He heard shit from the street nonstop, and he became just not soft.
He's from the streets.
He's from the streets.
He's got the grit. He knows.
Any chance they go with third QB? Who are we talking about here? I don't even know who the Rams third QB is, honestly.
Did they drop
Stetson Bennett? He's just been not dressed. Honestly, there is a chance that they would just go to the youngster.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett still is there.
Yeah.
Seattle only has two QB. Jaron Hall is the one that they scratch as well. I would still take Sam Howell or Stetson. Or Sam.
or
Jaron Hall. Jaron Hall.
I feel like it should be illegal to call Stetson Bennett a youngster.
True.
He's 27.
True. True.
I mean, he was drafted, was it last year? But he is 27.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'll ask you this, Rob. Who of the I'll just do AFC first. Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore off the board. Who are you taking as like an AFC future right now? I don't know
Kansas
if
City,
up.
Buffalo, Baltimore off the board.
Yeah, don't take them. That's not fun.
You have to take the Chargers.
At
None of these other
worth it.
None of these other teams
can win.
Yeah, Houston's not doing anything. Pittsburgh's not doing anything. Denver's not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm even the boat of Cincinnati. Like their chances of getting in are so low, but like their defense is so bad. Yeah, like basically Burrow's played perfect this year, and they still can't make the playoffs.
Cincy would be the best. Cincy is the team that can make the deepest run out of any of those, but the probability of them being in the playoffs is so small that it's not really worth the bet.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're 140-1 right now to win the AFC.
It has to be the Chargers.
They have like a 10% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah,
right now.
I can't even accept another answer. I know we have to think probabilistically, but like
you need some realistic.
Houston's gonna have a lot of things go their way in order to make a run. Like they're just gonna have to flip a switch, and Mahomes can flip a switch. Can the Texans? I don't think so.
Yeah, because I don't think the Chargers have the pieces yet either. But I'm not saying they don't remind me of the 2021 Rams, but McConkey's been since he's been rolling, Herbert's been, and Herbert was banged up early the year. Could they get hot? I don't know if they have the secondary to figure that to make a run against those top three offenses. But I'm not betting on Russell Wilson or the current version of Stroud in the Texans offense for sure.
Completely agree. Pitt could get it done if they don't look like they did the last 3 weeks. But the problem is the last 3 weeks they played all the good teams. That's who they're going to have to beat in the playoffs. They're going to have to beat Kansas City, Baltimore. These are the teams that have been smoking them. So
if you told me they would get a home game, I think they could win one. If they didn't really, that Browns loss is what's going to kill them. If they would have been hosting Baltimore, then I could maybe see them beating Baltimore in the first round. But you're going to put them on the road. Their defense has been trash for a month now.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe trash is too far, but like they have not gotten stops for like a month. So yeah, I don't see them realistically beating any of those top three. I don't even know if I see them like competing with any of those top three.
Yeah.
On the road.
AD says Chargers Rams Super Bowl one time.
I wouldn't hate it. I like watching both. I can watch Herbert and Stafford slinging around. All like they're probably my two favorite arms in the league.
Super Bowl is in
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah.
You hoping for LA to get a all LA Super Bowl?
I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't be super keen on that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's kind of boring.
I don't actually like watching the Rams. I think that they're low key one of the more boring teams in the NFL.
So here's the thing with the Rams. They're kind of ugly, and like they grind it. Like Stafford's kind of like been like that his whole career. He's been like this up and down kind of high variance quarterback in a way, because he's not afraid to take those like crazy shots that are maybe not the most high probability, high efficient throws. Like when they're cooking,
yeah,
they're really fun to watch. But the problem is, like we've seen, I think they scored 44 against the Bills. I think they've scored 42 or 44 points in the 3 games since. Like that's the problem with the Rams, is like they can't, like, whereas like the Ravens and the Bills have been doing that and even the Chiefs the last month have been pretty good as well.
Like I will accept any Super Bowl with the Chiefs, Bills, or Ravens, and even the Chargers. I would accept any Super Bowl with those teams. I would accept the Super Bowl, honestly, with pretty much any team in the NFC, but I think the Rams are super boring to watch.
Yeah. The Bucks, the Bucks irritate me because like I like Baker, but like God, he pains me. Like he's like my least favorite person to like be involved in a game on, because he can look so good and yet so bad, like from one series to the next. But yeah, the NFC should be fun. Like Washington's, I don't love their defense, but like Quinn's a good defensive mind, and like Daniels with his legs can kind of make things difficult for you.
And they do say it's well, actually, no, I was going to say it's tough to beat a team 3 times, but the Eagles lost the Commanders last week, so never mind. They split the season series.
It felt like
felt like they won because it was so out of hand, and then Hurts got. I kind of don't want to see Commanders Eagles again. I will say I think Philly matches up really well against Washington, because of their run game. Although Jonathan Allen might change that a little bit. 4th and 11, the Falcons picked it up to Drake London. Yeah. So this game is still live, still very much live.
I'm gonna. Do you think the Falcons go for 2 here if they score a touchdown?
No. I want to say I actually think if there's 1 second left in the game, I still don't think that they go for 2. I don't think Raheem Morris is that guy.
So what's interesting is I've been doing some like 4th down, like tracking some coaches. Raheem Morris has actually been like very good at getting the right.
He's on point this year because
he's been doing well.
His first go round in the league, he was deplorable.
Yeah,
deplorable.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like that was so long ago. I still see like Raheem Morris as like a super young guy, but like I forgot he was like a coach at like 35 or something like that, like super young. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. Which I have the under. I have a 47.5, so that'll be quite the sweat.
It's going to be a big sweat for you now. It's going to be a big sweat. I think a lot of people in the chat are cheering for the under tonight here as well. I will say the weather didn't turn out to be nearly as bad as forecasted, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I'm not too far from DC, but it didn't just start raining here until like the 4th quarter. So it didn't rain. It was supposed to rain like all evening, and it didn't. So,
right.
Weatherman, you know.
Weatherman. Well, you know what? It's probabilistic as well. Oh my goodness, this is a horrible snap. He's got to throw it away. Oh my God, what an idiot Penix is, dude. Penix, what are you doing? Wow. That is football IQ of 0. That's the Vince Young Wonderlick score right there. He's just got to throw it away at this point. Get out of the pocket and throw it.
What wasn't that Bijan?
Also, it's Bijan. My bad.
Yeah.
I didn't even see. My bad. Apologies. I didn't see. That makes a lot more sense.
Is it less of a football
Either
IQ
way,
if you're the
you know what?
running back?
I
should
I
still
gotta
do
say,
it.
The Arizona State quarterback or running back did that in the Big 12 championship game. They like screwed something up like that, and it wasn't supposed to be a pass, and he like threw it away. It landed in the field or something like it didn't go out of bounds, but it wasn't grounding because somebody was near it. It was nuts. It's a crazy clip if you play. But
my bad.
Yeah,
I didn't catch the snap there, so I didn't see that it was Wildcat. By the way, you know my thoughts on running the Wildcat, but still got to throw the ball away regardless. I know you're the running back, has to happen. Second of all, more importantly, Bijan, by taking that loss, is now down to 90 rushing yards. So that could be the most horrendous beat for someone.
Is that worse than like the QB rushing kneels?
This
kneel
is way
downs?
worse. This is way worse.
Because it's like you kind of expect the kneel downs at the end. Like this is one you thought you were gold.
This would be right up there. I don't have Bijan anything in this game. Let me see the numbers that were available. Just what
are the odds of that? Like 1 in 1,000?
Oh no. What did he go to right now? He's still at 17 for 90. Oh, he's still good, no? Unless somebody played him in game. Unless I'm drunk, I'm seeing
we don't have the drunk.
I have him at 69 yards on my app.
So
69. So they actually did.
It's gonna be a scoring thing. I don't know. This is through my F word app, so it's probably delayed. I don't know if that's
okay. NFL's official scoring still has him at 17 90. For 90.
Okay,
and the play is direct snap to Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson aborted.
Yeah, I love the aborted plays.
Fumbles recovered.
Well, it was Dahlman's fumble. They blamed it on the center. I don't know if that matters.
They blamed it on the center. The center's getting the fumble. So I think we're still good on Bijan if you got that.
Stat correction inbound for some then.
There's still time for there's still time for
That's so fucking rude.
I don't know how that is that like considered is that sack yardage? Since he's a Wildcat, so it doesn't count towards his rushing tat. Because it says, I think it has to be sack yardage.
I honestly don't know the scoring on this. The fumble is being charged to the center. Drew Dahlman fumble. Yeah,
because Robinson's getting it at the 24 and then -2 yards to the 26.
Yeah.
You have to check what their sack yards. Did they go up?
Yeah, I
don't have any of the yards. Nobody gets like a team sack, so it gets weird because nobody tackled him.
Penix had London on this play. He missed him. It's definitely not -21 pass yards for Bijan because he didn't attempt to pass. There's no.
Yeah, it would be team pass yards.
Yeah, so it's not that.
Passing net is 164 now. Or sorry, that's Washington. 173. And Penix is 185. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to score that. There's going to be some asking for both sides to be paid out.
Kyle Pitts. Wow. Now the question is whether or not they kick, because technically the under's still live.
I don't think it really matters if you kick. It's not it's too. I think you still go for 2 here, right? Is that the right?
I don't think there's. What's the time left? 1:19. I would say no. I don't think they should go for 2.
But if you think they'll play for they're kicking. You think they'll play for? So this is always interesting because they're not as aggressive basically.
Yes. Yeah. Eric Eager was the one that originally published this with PFF many years ago, but he looked at all the examples of this, right? And it's basically the difference is that when teams take negative plays early on, like Washington in this instance, right? They tend to play more conservatively. So, for example, say 1st and 10, they picks up, whatever, it's a few yards. 2nd down, they take a sack, and it's it's now 3rd and 17. They will play to burn the remaining Atlanta timeouts instead of playing for the field goal at that point. Whereas if they were down 25-24, they're going to use the 4 downs no matter what.
I wonder, do you know if he talked about if that's the right strategy? Do you remember?
Yes.
Or as an offense, should you still be aggressive? Or should you try to race their timeouts?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, from the offensive standpoint, like, is it better to kind of punt on the drive?
Well, the strategy right now would be to tell your players you need to go down and score a touchdown and play as if you need to score a touchdown, because playing for a field goal is going to be suboptimal, right?
Yeah.
They're going to end up getting themselves in a situation to kick like a 52-yarder as time expires or something like that. And that's usually suboptimal.
It's like
By the way,
I tweeted yesterday about I said the Bengals need to get as close as possible before they kick this field goal, because people just assume that 50-yarders are automatic these days. And then he missed a 33-yarder? Shanked it.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Commanders right now are being listed as having 4 sacks for 31 yards. So I feel like that loss, what was that loss? It was like 20? It was
20.
Probably makes sense that it's just counted as a sack.
I think it has to be, because he was technically the quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, if you have like a bad snap,
he's still 17 for 90 rushing. So I think at this point it's been
per
declared
the official NFL stats. Man, what a sweat! I feel like you're gonna be sweating this for a long time if you have Bijan.
It's actually really funny, like these kind of plays can happen. I have to apologize to Michael Penix and the entire Penix family out there who's watching for roasting him and comparing him to Vince Young. It's a very bad comparison. And that was a dart he threw on 4th down there too.
Yeah, Penix, he can sling it. No shortage of that. The whole like lefty bias thing with quarterbacks. They don't think like the reverse. You see people do that. They would do the reverse film, have guys like look like they're righties and like, see, look, it looks normal.
I watched Penix play a game last year. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like really impressed. January. I tweeted it on New Year's Day this year, January 1st. I have not seen much of Washington play this season. Penix is unreal. These are some major piss missiles with pinpoint accuracy. What was their bowl game last year? January 1st.
Texas in the playoff semifinal.
Holy fuck.
He was, they almost blew it. He was the first like 3.5 quarters. He also had 3 NFL wide receivers, which helps out, and like 2 NFL offensive linemen. That offense was stacked. But yeah, he had that offense was like fit. He was under Kalen DeBoer, who's now the coach of Alabama. He was like with him for a long time in college. So like he knew the ins and outs of everything. That was fun.
Thoughts on Shanahan possibly getting traded? Is that a real thing? Like that?
I've only heard this in like Reddit rumors in like the deep depths of Twitter or X, whatever. I've seen people say like Chicago would trade for him. I think it's more of people like it would be me saying like if I was the Bears, I would try to trade for Kyle Shanahan and try to tell the 49ers that like, yeah, you know what, it's getting stale. We'll take him. We have a talented quarterback, that type of thing. I don't think it's actually anything real to it.
I don't think I would trade for Shanahan.
Well, it depends on the price.
Well, sure. Yeah, that's true. So the last trade was Bruce Arians, right? That was, I think he got
Peyton,
traded.
right? Peyton got
traded. Oh, Sean Payton. Forgot about that.
It was like 2 firsts, I think, though.
2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
I don't think
I
I'd do
mean-
that, but he's such a floor raiser. I don't know if he's a ceiling raiser. That's my only issue with Shanahan. Like, I think you have a pretty high floor with him. I don't know. But also, I don't know. He's the one of that tree. I mean, I guess you could throw Mike McDaniel in there, but like McDaniel's only been a coach for 2 years. He hasn't like got a quarterback, like a top end quarterback. Like even Purdy. I know Purdy's been good, but like he's a 7th round pick. You know, like McVay has Stafford. Like even O'Connell, like he had Cousins and, you know, Darnold. Like that's more talent than Jimmy G. And I know they drafted Trey Lance, which looks bad, but that whole class has looked bad. So what would you trade for him? What's your price? What do you need?
I don't know, because like Shanahan's a good coach, but he's not. Okay, so I'm just watching this play here, and then I'll react in a second. So it's going to be 3rd and 11 right now for Washington. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know, because Atlanta's got 2 timeouts. They haven't burned any clock. I mean, they took a sack on 1st down and then immediately got up and snapped the ball right away, which again seems a little bit suboptimal.
Yeah.
But
was
this
it
is
119 when this drive started?
Yeah, something like that.
Man.
And Atlanta's going to get the ball back.
Wild.
Zacchaeus just dropped it, I think, in the middle of the field. That's a pretty horrendous possession.
Yeah, I think like you need I think in this situation, definitely when like Atlanta has timeouts left, you got to have those easy. You got to run some clock, so you have to have like the easy. I don't want like the check down to the running back to get like, even if it gets like 3 yards,
For sure.
it's like it plays like, okay, you're gaining yards, but also you're burning clock because you don't actually need that much time to get into field goal range.
Well, so it's really hard to process this stuff in real time. That was a huge kick, by the way. Really, really big punt.
60-yarder.
Yeah.
That probably saved all the win, probably not all of it, but like a lot of the win probably they lost by not burning any clock.
Yeah.
That
Beat Gamer says you need to run on first. I don't think you run on first at all. No, because Atlanta's not going to use a timeout at that point. You're not getting them to, you're just taking off time on the clock.
You just need the easy short throws, and I mean he kind of tried to on the one where he took the sack, but like make him aware of scrambling, which is much easier said than done. But
yeah,
like you have to run some clock.
Well, once you take the sack on 1st down, it's only a 1-yard loss. But at that point, you gotta eat a little more clock.
Yeah, the 2nd down play needed to be like an easy play here. Wow. This would be quite the collapse here.
If I lose Darnell Mooney on this drive unders, I'm going to be really upset. I mean, it's trending that way. I'm sitting under 3.5 receptions at plus 120. Oh my God, he was wide open too, and Penix missed him.
Yeah,
that would have been it right there. That would have been it. And I can't take another. I don't remember what the yardage is that I have. Got to go through my bet stand. Also, like, why did they let so much clock run?
This is with 2 timeouts, I don't get. Like, if you had 1, I could maybe understand it. But, yeah, I don't know what the point of that is. The timeout usage in this league that's like the next thing that teams need to learn. There was someone else did one today. At the end, it was either end of the half or end of the game. They didn't call a timeout. I can't remember who it was.
This is a disaster class. Disaster class.
Because that play, yeah, they 40 seconds left when they ran that big pass to Mooney. Didn't run another play until 17 seconds left.
Yeah, that was a good no call. Their feet just got clipped up there. Oh my. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. They had a timeout to spare. I was going to say they're about to take a delay game. They used one of their 2 timeouts there. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Probably wasted 15 seconds minimum. So you probably
it was the Vikings. Andy's right. It was Brady that was roasting the Vikings for letting the clock run. They were very clearly playing for a field goal, which Brady would honestly never do in his life, pretty much. Like he's thinking touchdown. So it was definitely unusual to see that. But they were playing to go up 2 scores, which I'm not necessarily sure I would have agreed with. I would have pushed a little harder, but that's what the Vikings were doing in that position. I think it was 10-3 at the time.
Yeah. And then that was the whole like offsides debacle.
Well, they flexed the right game into Sunday night. I'll tell you that. Not that they had any other options. It's an offside free play. No, you got to give them the free play. Right?
That would have been interesting because
you can't end in the defensive penalty. You can't end the game on a defensive penalty.
So
if they had a free play, he has a free.
Does that work if you accept it though? Or is it only if you decline it? Or because you can't, if you decline it, do you still get the free play? You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I don't actually know that rule. Like I know if you accept it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like if you accepted. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. I stand corrected for a second time. I can own the mistakes. I'm a big man.
Let's get a Hail Mary to stab Washington in the back.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Man, this guy's got to stop targeting Mooney. Stop targeting Mooney. At least there's going to be a kick now. Man, this is a horrendous end game. Horrendous end game for the Commanders. It's definitely a penalty, without a doubt. It's just a matter of whether the ball was out already or not.
Man. Commanders.
Penalty, which is, he's not. Michael Davis, this corner is enormous, dude. Are you watching him across from from Darnell Mooney?
What's he listed at here?
Is Darnell Mooney really, really short? He's only listed at 6'2".
Like, yeah. I mean, 6'2" for a corner is pretty big, but maybe what's Mooney at?
I'll tell you 1 second. Mooney's 5'11".
5'11".
He looks like way bigger than 3 inches bigger than him.
I was saying, I'm gonna assume that Mooney's probably closer to 5'9" than 5'11". Just one of those.
Yeah.
One of those deals. Because usually you don't cheat yourself on height. It goes the other way.
Scott says time for Koo. No more Koo. Koo's on IR. It's Riley Patterson.
Yeah. There's been a lot of kicker injuries.
If it's long, it's good. It's short.
Oh, man.
Did he hit the crossbar?
Didn't see.
That had to have hit the crossbar because there's no chance it was that short and landed. How could it have been that short?
Yeah, 56. That's not.
No, but where the ball landed.
That. Right. Did he just shank that?
No, it's just 5 yards short. Oh my God. That's embarrassing. I don't know if that was good from 50, honestly. It would have been close.
We need to decide. I feel like they would have shown it. Did they? It would have shown. I feel like the doinks.
I'm going to be so triggered losing Darnell Mooney in overtime. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be very triggering.
Man. Yeah, that kick was, yeah. That would have been barely good from 50 max.
Washington's taking the ball. I love how Kyle is in it right till the end. Played under 48.5.
Let's get ourselves a tie here.
Let's get ourselves a tie, boys.
So a tie is good for the Commanders. Or sorry, no. Tie's good for the Rams. And I think it's good for the Commanders, right?
I can't tell you. Yeah, over 2.5 wins. A tie would be good for the Rams.
Tie. The Rams clinch with a tie. I think the Commanders would too. I think because they couldn't get to 7 losses, and Tampa and Atlanta both at 7. So I think a tie Washington clinches.
Tie Washington's good because they'll be 10-5-1.
I'm gonna be honest. With Denver having to play for I kind of the tie being in play makes overtime like much more of a puzzle that I find like fascinating. Like playing for tie sucks, but I like the puzzle. Like Sean Payton, I thought was way too conservative on his final drive yesterday, but like I understand it because like they needed to churn clock.
But he was using timeouts when the Bengals
I don't get that either. So I don't like there was one of those things that like there weren't enough things to add up there.
There's something was going on, man.
Yeah,
that didn't make a lot of sense.
Like I was like, okay, he knows, and then he started calling those timeouts, and I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't. But like, why was he so? I don't know. I don't know what was going on there, and you can't ever believe what they say in post game. But that was puzzling to say the least.
Very unusual. Very, very unusual.
Now, I just want to say if Raheem Morris would have used his timeouts, maybe he could have kicked a.
Maybe they would have.
Don't assume you can kick. Everybody can just make 55 plus yarders with ease. Man, so what you look up your yardage on Mooney here? Get the full sweat going.
I got a bunch of different numbers, but I just don't want to see Mooney catch anything. Is basically what it comes down to.
Let's just shut it down here.
At this point, yeah, I would just honestly, I don't know if I'm cheering against people or with them at this point, but the best case scenario is Washington just drives down the field and scores a touchdown right now. Because I don't got any unders that I'm rooting for Washington players. So that would be the best case scenario.
To go back to the favorites podcast, it's up to 47 retweets, 45 likes. I think it got 4,000 views in that quarter. So pretty
there you go.
Pretty solid. Good effort, everyone.
Got up there.
I think just for forward progress, I think we clinched Joe Burrow passing yards. If we need winners for
we need to add some units at season end.
I was gonna say you need to pad the numbers a little bit, like 13-1 there.
I went on a pretty good run. I'm not gonna lie. I went on a pretty good run.
It's what it's just when it mattered.
Yeah,
he came in clutch.
Receiver's gonna turn off due to inactivity. No, thank you. Dodge that.
I saw a stat that with this Seattle tiebreaker, I think strength of victory has been used 3 times since 2000. And if it happens to Seattle, it'll be the second year in a row that Seattle will lose out to strength victory. And that's a bad beat.
That is tough. That is a tough one. Gotta love a false start to start overtime. It's always great stuff. What's Jaden Daniels at rushing wise? Fuck, he's gonna hit 100 yards, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, picked the wrong quarterback to play alt rushes.
I will say from Penix in college that he will never scramble. Like it's not. I think he has it in him. I don't think he's like, but like he just does. He wants to fire the ball over the field. He does not want to run.
Zach Ertz could have just got up and ran there. Wheels Up asks, why did he get paid out on plus 4.5 Falcons? I don't know, but dude, time to withdraw. Time to hit the withdrawal.
How quickly can you get that going?
Get the money out.
Can they just put like a minus, $100 in there? Like
They can, yeah.
Just put that charge on you. Just never play there again,
Daniel's up to 99. Daniel's up to 99.
Just feels, I don't want to say easy, but kind of.
So far,
Yeah.
definitely.
Man, Washington has 13 penalties for 108 yards. It's wild.
Big third down coming up here.
This got to be
Big
4 down
third.
territory, right?
I would think so, especially with the chance to end the game with a touchdown.
I think I saw they're like 19 of 22 on 4th downs this year.
Yeah.
The Commanders.
The first time I saw Cliff Kingsbury tonight. I don't know how I
I
feel
saw
about
him
that.
earlier. I
next one,
was just about to bring that up. I don't like the one like you could see like under and above.
You
it,
could
like,
see
it was-
skin up below it.
right. I was
It's a
like
little
just wear like a bigger one, man. Like 'cause your neck's like half your neck is still exposed.
Daniels is.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually don't. The Falcons have no hope of defending this. It seems
No. It feels
you can't spy him with a linebacker because he's a million times faster. They didn't spy him anyways, and they let him get out of the pocket.
115 of their 378 yards today on the
When
ground.
you play
by
guys like
quarterback.
Daniels, Lamar Jackson, you got to get like your fastest player to spy. I know it's really weird because then the other team can just run it, but if you're going to do that, you have no hope.
I like one of the big keys is like you have to have, and Atlanta doesn't have this anywhere really on their defensive line. You really need that like internal or interior pressure and have your edges like play contain, because like if you have to rush on your edges, like he'll eventually bust around, and then you have a running back trying to beat him to the side or a linebacker trying to get him to the sideline. That's not.
Yeah.
Like you have to make sure he tries to scramble like through the center, because then it's a little bit easier to tackle him. But if you let him get outside, it's bad.
There's our guy. C-Rod. Carlos says Broncos plus 3.5 and Falcons plus 4.5 back-to-back nights. Fun as hell. So I will say, last year, I lost back-to-back overtime games where I had the team above a field goal, where it went to the third possession of the game
And a touchdown.
and a touchdown.
That's bad. If
It
it's
was
the first,
back-to-back weeks. One of them was Bucks-Bills. No, it was 2 years ago. It was Brady. Bucks-Bills was
Okay.
one of the games. And the other one was a Cowboys game. I can't remember who they played. They were fucking horrendous beats back-to-back.
I was gonna say a first possession touchdown in overtime is like not horrible. I mean, obviously it's not fun, but third possession touchdowns, that's not. You're supposed to settle for a field goal. Like, come on.
Maybe it was 2021. Was it this game? It was 2021. Bucks beat the Bills 33-27 in overtime. What a fucking shit show that game was. Bills mounted such a big fourth quarter comeback.
I think I remember that. I remember that now.
And then the following week, I want to say it was the exact next week. It was the Cowboys scoring a touchdown. Dak aired it out like 40 yards to a wide open receiver in the end zone.
Oh, was that the Patriots?
Might have been. It was Patriots. It was the Patriots.
I remember
that was the
now.
opponent. Mother of, and that was in New England too.
Was there an interception there too, or was it a pick six in overtime? Or no, I don't know. I can't remember.
was it? What's methodologist doing in here right now? This is turning into the score chat. Daniels just threw a pick. Goodbye. That's a timeout happening. There's one thing I will not tolerate in this chat. You want to do that? Go with the fucking dumpsters in the score chat who are just posting fake results nonstop. That ain't happening on my watch. Later.
See ya. Don't come back for a while.
Yeah, come on, man. Like posting fake results in it's
Yeah, nobody wants that. No, nobody's benefiting. What are you laughing by yourself?
Yeah. Oh my God, Daniels, hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, he got destroyed. He got destroyed. It was Prescott to CD. That was fucking painful, man. Yeah. I do feel like it's Daniels takes some. He's not a big guy. He's basically like my body frame.
That was his that was like his pre-draft thing about his legs, was like he gets smoked all the time because he like he plays like he's Cam Newton and Josh Allen weigh like 240 pounds, but he weighs like 210.
210. I'm gonna call BS on the 210.
Oh yeah, because his legs are skinny. Like that's where you can add weight. Like you look at like Cam Newton, like lower half is thick. That's how you can add some easy weight there because your legs are so big. There's not a lot of meat on the bone for Jaden Daniels there.
Yeah. Scott says 4 down territory ? I would say absolutely yes, unless you lose, like get sacked here, in which case it might be a different story.
Because a tie benefits you.
Yeah.
And
Jaden Daniels is 6'4", so that can contribute because I'm deceptively tall. When people meet me in real life, they're like, I figured you were shorter. I'm exactly 6 feet tall on the nose, and I weigh 180 pounds, but it doesn't look like it. So I don't know. Could be true, but he does not look 210 to me, man. Looks like I'm watching myself.
Yeah, I have a friend. They have a kid who's college basketball, Division III college basketball player who's like 6'4", and he reminds me of Jaden Daniels if you put like pads on him, and he weighs like 185, and I'm like that. I don't see a 25-pound difference.
Did he catch that? But... Wow. If he caught that, what a hands grab that was. I think we're going to have to see a replay. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, the Falcons are saying it hit the ground on the sideline. Oh, he caught it, dude. He caught it. What a fucking grab that was by Zach Ertz, man.
Man.
That was an unreal hands catch right there. Wow. Sorry, Kerms. Sorry, Carlos. That was a heck of a grab. Commanders clinched their first playoff berth since 2020.
Wow.
Tough
Rams
one on the spreads, man. Rams clinch.
So we get Sunday Night Football? Is it going to be the
Vikings-Lions?
No matter what, it was going to be that anyway, but
has to be. There's no way they would have put the NFC South. Like Tampa Bay? Yeah, what is it? Atlanta, Carolina next week or something like that?
Yeah,
it's got to be.
No, I think it's the only game that doesn't, because like Philly's locked into the 2. I know there's some other seeding things, but like I think it's the only game that both teams are going to play for like something big, not just like seeding within the playoffs.
Right. So the Bucks move up into 4th. Bucks have the spot right now.
Yes.
So, and it's Bucks Saints next week. There's no way that was ever going to be Sunday Night Football. 14-point favorite. It's not happening.
That seems
it's
low.
Not happening. That was an incredible. Tampa Bay division does not cash.
Yeah, right? No, they still have to. Yeah. If Atlanta has the tiebreaker over Tampa.
Yeah.
So
Tampa needs to win. They have to beat New Orleans next week.
Atlanta needs them to lose and win, and then they're in.
I would fucking die of laughter if the Saints trotted out Derek Carr for that game. And they activate Olave and he plays as well. I would fucking die, dude.
That would be just like a little What do you have to lose, Rizzy? Not that. Well, they probably wouldn't let it because the car has that medical exemption thing. But
Yeah.
God, that would be great. That'd be such a sweat if you were a Bucks fan.
Is Seattle out? I'm pretty sure that this
Yes.
officially makes them out. No,
Yeah.
or there's like
Yes.
some really weird
No,
circumstance.
They're out. They're out. They needed the Rams needed one more win from either the Commanders, 49ers tomorrow, or 9 teams next week to clinch. Like it was such an astronomical odds for Seattle to get in. So the Rams have clinched. They're in. So the NFC is just the NFC South.
Seattle's got to get bet now. Period. Like it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, there is no way the Rams.
If you didn't bet it already, when we talked, me and Clive talked about it earlier. It's done. They might also mail it in, but we know that the Rams are going to mail it in, and the Seahawks are still up in the air. You got to take some shots like that. Anyways, Austin, all the best, man. Thank you for joining. Sorry about your under. Such as
you win some, you lose some. But thanks for having me. It was a good time. Got some overtime sweats in. So,
all right. Austin Mock, everyone, check him out at The Athletic. That's going to be it for me. I'm back here Monday Night Football tomorrow. Lions 49ers. Join me. Hopefully can find some more props for that game. I'm looking forward to that game, even though it has no meaning at this point as well. Knowing that the Lions are playing their starters and probably will take it seriously, at least we'll have a good football game. Sweated that Darnell Mooney under. Unfortunately, didn't catch the SGP. Slight profit on the night. Wasn't a game I loved anyways. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Thanks for everyone who tuned in. For Austin Mock, for Clive Bixby, for my producer, Jason Cooper, and for FanDuel, who you should check out if you don't have an account. FanDuel.com/forward-progress. I'm Rob Pizzola. This has been another Sunday Night Football live watch along. Peace out, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.